Oh, shit. Okay. All right, guys, we're live. What's going on, guys? Back here again. We're doing another debate. We're a little behind, about an hour behind, but it's all good though. We're here. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 greatest wrestling matches of all time. Kind of like we did last week. We're going to come up with a list. We're going to have to agree on the list. We'll throw out some matches out there. They might throw out some matches out there. We're going to have some disagreements, obviously. That's the whole point of the debate. But we're not putting this in order. This is not going to be in order.
Tell them one more time what it's about because you broke in on that. There was a noise.
Oh, so this is about can you hear now? Is it good? Sound good? Okay. We're debating the top 10 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. Not the top 10. See, some people, this is not the top 10 greatest WrestleManias. It's the greatest WrestleMania matches. It's the matches. So I'm going to throw out some matches. They might throw out some matches. Obviously, this is a debate, so we'll have some disagreements. I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves first before we go down the list. We'll start with Conrad, then we'll go over to Kyron.
Yes, my name is Conrad Cushman. I am the host of Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And I have a podcast. It's on Anchor. You guys can check it out there. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn. And I also have a YouTube channel, Everything Pro Wrestling. 5 subscribers away from 300. Help me get to the big 300. Help a brother out. I need it. And that's all I got. Thank you for having me on the show today.
What's up? It's me, Kyron Chase. I've been on this show plenty of times. I've done multiple podcasts in the league. Some wrestling related, some not. We've done skits together. And I'm ready to get started.
So, like I said, if you have any matches you want to throw out there, you throw them out there. We can always come back to matches. So just don't if you have a match and you say, well, I think we should come back to it, let's come back to it. It's no big deal. But at the end of the day, we're going to agree on this list. We're going to come up with a great list. I promise you that. So, we'll just start from WrestleMania down. I'm going to start from all the WrestleMania down all the way up. So, let's start from WrestleMania 3. Let's talk about Ricky Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Best match in WrestleMania 3, if you ask me. But is this one of the greatest top 10 WrestleMania matches of all time? Would you put this on the list? Let's start with Conrad.
You want me to start or you want to go?
Go ahead, Kyron. You can start, Kyron. Because you already started off.
Well, here's the thing. It's on my list. I actually have it number 4 on my personal list. And in terms of actual match quality, I think this match should be on the list. It's the first true in-ring classic of any WrestleMania. And yes, I know in terms of we'll talk about Hogan and Andre in a second, but I think this match should be on the list now because it showed that you don't have to be in the main event to steal the show. And it was a technical masterpiece. It had a lot of great false finishes, and it had a nice simple story and build up going into it. And the match worked out. Was a very good match inside of in front of 93,000 allegedly. But I think this match is definitely one of the top 10 best WrestleMania matches, and only because even if you don't even want to debate anything, it's the first real WrestleMania classic.
Kyron, what are your thoughts on it?
I agree with what Kyron said for the most part. To add a little caveat to it, I think that this match changed a lot of wrestling fans, and it's the reason why we get the wrestling we get today. Shout out to Some Kind of Wrestling Fan. I was talking to him earlier. I see him in the live chat. Just wanted to let him know I see him in there. This match changed, though, how people think about pro wrestling. If you guys heard the backstory about it, Macho Man Randy Savage laid this match out for probably a year almost and told Ricky Steamboat and quizzed him on what's the spot after the body slam and I give you the axe handle off the top rope. What? That's crazy that he thought about this that deep, move by move by move. And it influenced matches. I don't know how old school you guys are, but I remember watching the WCW TV title matches on Saturday nights. This is back when I was still a nerd, didn't have any girls, probably still don't. But if you look at that stuff, those matches are based off of Macho Man Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat. And for weeks, even on Bruce Pritchard's podcast, I just learned this last week. They had rights to WWF tapes down in Texas. Do you know how many times they showed that match for 3 or 4 weeks straight? They just showed that match for their show in place. Put that match on. No one will get tired of that. And people watched every week.
And here's one more thing about that match. And this is something I learned when watching the History of WrestleMania DVD. I need to make sure I get this fact right. I think if I'm not mistaken, 10 years, they did the top 10 WrestleMania match. That match stayed number 1 for that long. So I feel like just that alone, that match has to be in the top 10.
Kyron, you said that match was number 4 on your list. This is my number 2, Malik, if you ever wanted to know. I did a video about this too a while back, and this was my number 2 favorite WrestleMania match of all time.
You on your podcast?
I think I did it on YouTube.
So we're all agreeing, and it's on the list. I already wrote it down. Definitely my list. It's on my list too. Like Kyron said, this was the first real WrestleMania classic match. That wasn't the main event. It's crazy how I've always heard stories about Macho Man, like how he breaks down the matches, like it's from start to finish. It's like insane. Like that's like ridiculous. Like from everything from the beginning, like he has to break down his match like that. It's crazy that they built it. I didn't know that they built it up for years though. I didn't know that fact. That's pretty wild that he was thinking that far down already. So we got Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat. Let's talk about Andre versus Hogan. Conrad, what do you think about this match? Is it top 10 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time?
All right. In the pre-show, we already started talking about this, just so you guys are aware. So it kind of got a little heated. So I brought this up last week about Andre the Giant. Remember, when you're looking at WrestleMania 3, what match brought people to the arena? I mean, are matches rated on their greatness in the ring? Because you already got the money at that point. What are you trying to deliver? I mean, I guess for the people at home watching to get them roped in. But at the same time, Hogan and Andre are the reason all those people were there to see that match. So I think that this match deserves a nod. I don't know if it's top 10 at this point. I mean, comparison, I mean, we would probably have to go through all the rest of the WrestleManias to figure it out. But I think it deserves to at least be mentioned at this point.
Yeah, in terms of impact, legacy, it might be the most famous match in WrestleMania history. But in terms of in-ring action, you can't put it in the top 10. That's why doing these lists is hard. Because you said everything I was going to say. While Savage and Steamboat, they stole the event, Hogan and Andre sold it. You look at the poster for WrestleMania 3, Hogan and Andre are on it. And here's one thing, once again, I'm referencing the History of WrestleMania DVD. The first 2 WrestleManias, the celebrities are what really sold the 2 shows. WrestleMania 3, they still had celebrities, but they were more pushed to the background. And Hogan and Andre, they let that still sell. And nowadays that would never happen. You would not get one match to sell out, even though you don't believe it's 93,000 in that arena. You're not going to get one match to sell that type of venue. That's not happening in today's wrestling world. So in terms of like impact, you got to at least bring it up. It's not in my top 10 mainly because I can't. And it definitely has to do with the fact that I wasn't around back then. But whenever I sit down and watch it, I acknowledge what it did for the industry. There are moments I still enjoy the body slam in general. But for me, I can't say I truly enjoy the match itself. Yeah. So it's not in my top 10, but I understand its significance.
This wouldn't make my top 10. Obviously, this was a huge impact for the wrestling world back in 1987. I mean, when the match happened, it was ridiculous huge. I mean, you had Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan. I mean, this is the ultimate match that everybody wanted to see for so long, and it was happening. And the fact that Hogan won was even crazier. You know what I'm saying? Back then. So I mean, the match quality obviously wasn't good, but the hype. This is probably one of the most hyped of WrestleMania matches in history. I mean, if not number 1, it's top 3. It's got to be top 3, hands down. I mean, you're talking about the segment with in the Piper's Pit when he ripped the cross off Hogan's chest, and he was just that was just all good stuff right there. I mean, everything that they did right there was good stuff. So it's just like the impact was big, but I can't put it top 10, man. There's so many other great WrestleMania matches, to me, in my opinion, that deserve to be over this match this year. So I mean, as far as me making it, well, I wouldn't say make it. Conrad, do you think it's a make it? Should it come back to it or?
I don't think it makes it. I think it's out at this point.
Okay. So let's move on.
I just felt it deserved a mention because it's kind of, you know what I mean?
It's important. It's important.
It's probably the first, when you think, it's probably the first WrestleMania match you've heard of. You think any, video package for WWE, you're going to see Hogan and Andre face to face. You're going to see that. That's what you think about. You think of WrestleMania. Hell, I didn't even see the match yet, and I knew about that match when I was little.
Okay, so let's move on. We're gonna skip WrestleMania 4 if you guys don't mind. Unless you guys have something on that card you want to throw out.
There ain't a damn thing from WrestleMania. Savage winning the title was good, but ain't a damn match that's in this list.
Man, they could have did Ricky Steamboat versus Macho Man at the WrestleMania, and they didn't.
They could, yeah, they could have.
So we're skipping that WrestleMania. What about WrestleMania 5, Hogan versus Macho Man?
Storyline, it's one of the best storylines. How it built up for a whole year from 4 to 5. But and of course, Savage
Isn't
turned heel as well.
isn't that great how storyline used to be like that? A whole year of a storyline that was so good.
Yeah, and it was a lot of subtle. It was very subtle throughout. From hell, the moment Savage won a title, you could argue Hogan tried to steal his thunder back then. Then you got SummerSlam. Then you got Survivor Series. Then you got what happened at the Royal Rumble. Then you got when Elizabeth got taken out at Saturday's main event, and Savage turned on Hogan. But it's not in my top 10 favorite WrestleMania matches. I love the build up, and I do like the match. I love the build up. But no, I don't really like the match. I don't think the match is top 10. I would probably give it more points, and I know this is not gonna happen because he was the heel. If Savage had won, but it's not in my top 10.
I am with Kyron on that one. I think the build up for it is freaking tremendous. I think it's absolutely great. It's probably one of the greatest storylines made by Vince, Hogan, Savage, Elizabeth, Bruce Pritchard, Pat Patterson, although whoever was all involved in it. I don't know who wrote it because there's so many tales about who wrote that. It could possibly be in the top 10 greatest storylines of all time, but that match was okay, and I just wasn't feeling it, though. I mean, everybody knew the outcome. I'm trying to think if there's anything else even on that Mania that would have mattered. No. I mean, Warrior Rude it was Warrior.
That match they had at SummerSlam, I thought was better.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that would fit on there and be better, in my opinion.
All right, so yeah, that's not making my list. What about WrestleMania 6, Hogan versus Warrior?
You can go first, Conrad. You can go first.
Yo, all right. So WrestleMania 3 happened. I was just born. Like I was probably like weeks old, not even. This match, though, I remember from my childhood as little kids. There were Hulk Hogan kids and Ultimate Warrior kids. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I was an Ultimate Warrior kid. I hate Hulk Hogan. And I used to have the wrestling buddy, and I used to pretend that I was Ultimate Warrior, and I was gonna beat him in my little draws, pounded on my chest, like, yeah. But I'm like, is he really gonna beat Hogan though? This is probably a match that's way better than it has any business being. And when little kids were like, there were Hogan kids and Warrior kids, you never thought you would see two good guys fight it out like that. Even the hype. Have you ever seen the Royal Rumble, guys?
Yeah, that moment was epic. That moment was epic. Them just.
Yep. Just pounding, going into each other. Every little kid knows those names from back then. I've heard it like from Full House, all types of shit, just referencing the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. I think that this match deserves a mention. Is it there? I don't know, but I think it's one of those that I would say it goes into the mentions.
I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people what I'm about to say.
Oh, man.
If I had done this maybe a decade ago, when I first saw the match when I was like 8 or 9, I probably would have put it on this list. I admit that. Now, I'm going to put aside my personal feeling for Hogan and Warrior because I don't like neither one of them as people. I don't really enjoy their work that much, but I will give them their credit. This match, like you said, is better than it had any right to be. So let's be honest, neither one of them are world-class workers. So, but you got it. I understood the story they were telling, but I don't know. I just can't get into it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like back then it must have been amazing seeing two good guys go against each other, and especially because they were larger than life, apparently. And actually, this started a new tradition. That every April 1st WrestleMania main event was a good guy versus good guy. So it started with this match. But it's not in my top 10. I just can't get into it, especially nowadays. It's not. Don't get me wrong. I love the crowd especially, but the match itself is just okay to me.
Top 10, man. That's debatable, man. I don't. Man. Was the storyline and everything about it good? Yes. This is way better than it was supposed to be because we've all seen all the Warrior matches, all the matches on. But I mean, top 10, no, man. I can't put it in top 10. I don't think I'd put it in my top 10. I think there are other matches that are better than this. We can come back to it. We can definitely write down.
Let me make one more plea, man. Dude, you got to think. Good guy versus good guy didn't happen. There were people telling Vince that this isn't going to sell because people aren't going to know who to cheer for and who to boo.
No one got booed, though.
Huh?
But like, watching the match, no one got booed. Just you either cheer for one or you cheer for the other.
Right, but back then they were trying to tell Vince, don't do this match, and they thought Warrior sucked so bad in the ring that this was going to be horrible and Hogan couldn't save him because that's not what Hogan did. Right. This match was way better. Like, do you guys remember the finish? That's one of the main things. The finish is memorable. Like when you play the 30 years of WrestleMania in, I think it's 2K14,
Yeah,
When
it is.
Hogan comes off and misses that leg drop, you were like, yo, Hogan never misses the leg drop, bro. He does the splat. Dude, it's a great moment. I'm telling you. I think that match, I think it should be at least in the mentions that we come back to it.
All right, we'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it. You write it down real quick.
Don't worry. This is where it's about to start getting good, live chat.
All right, so does anybody have any mentions they want to throw out from WrestleMania 7 or 8?
What do you mean mentions?
Yeah.
Are you forgetting mentions? Hold up, Malik. You are not going to disrespect Savage and Warrior. That's one thing you will not do.
That's what I'm saying. Does anybody want to throw out any matches?
Yes. That match is the best Ultimate Warrior match I've ever seen. Tells an incredible story. And watching it, even though I didn't watch it during that time period, I didn't know who the hell was going to win and going to retire. And then the ending, everything that happened after the match, just brings it up even more. That match is in my top 10, and it's number 5 on my list. So, Savage and Warrior is in my top 10. It's number 5. Now I'll get to WrestleMania 8 when we get to that one, but you can comment on that too, because Savage and Warrior is number 5 on my list.
All right. Yeah, I'm coming in. I'm sorry, bro. You disrespected. We cannot mention.
Oh, I didn't disrespect. I said you guys want to throw any mentions out because I don't want to be the one throwing.
You should have been already saying this.
You should have been saying that match when we got there, bro. That match is.
I didn't know somebody wanted to throw it out. I mean, I don't know if you guys didn't. Don't be afraid to throw
I'm throwing it right now in your face, dude. Yeah. That was the best. What Kyra said, the best Ultimate Warrior match you will ever see. You will never see a match as good as that. Well, oh dang. With all due respect to Ultimate Warrior, you will never see a match that's better. You can go look all through the internet. That match is classic. He dropped 7 elbow drops off the top rope, and Warrior still kicked out. Warrior ends up penning this dude with his foot on his chest like he's a jabroni. He was like, he looked at his hands. He could have got the count out when Warrior was like, what am I doing? Looks up at the guys. You're like, Macho Man, you're a bad guy. Take the count out. And this fool goes out there to go get him because he wants to beat him and show everyone he's better than him. Warrior press slams him, foot on the chest. 1, 2, 3, and then the ending, dude. I get like goosebumps on my arm when I go back and watch it. Sherry starts kicking him like, you messed up everything.
And Elizabeth just grabs it and throws out the ring.
Yep. Oh, dude. Miss Elizabeth comes in, and then when Miss Elizabeth has the star, sparkly shirt on, she hugs him. Look, I got goosebumps talking about it. You probably can't even see him. She goes to give him the hug, and women are in the crowd crying. There's dudes crying, looking all ugly. Man, dude, it's a classic moment, dude. It's gotta be at least mentioned in the list. And this is even in my top 5, but it has to be in there talked about.
Yeah. It's funny because even though the stuff of Warrior looking at his hands is corny, it's still pretty good. I remember first time I saw the match, like I said, it was on the Macho Man DVD. So I assumed because Macho Man had a lot of more matches than WWE, he was gonna win. And then I saw that Warrior won the match, so it was crazy. Like he got hit with 5 elbows, still kicked out. Then he hits a smash on Savage, and Savage kicks out. That match was crazy, and yeah, it's not only in my top 10, it's in my personal top 5. Mainly because like Randy Savage is my favorite wrestler of the 80s, and this is not even. I don't think it's his best match, but it's Warrior's best match. You got to give Savage the credit and Warrior the credit. It's in my top 5. I think it's a top 10 WrestleMania match.
So you got it on the list, Kyron. Kyron, you got it on the list? You got it on the list, or you got it on the mentions?
It's hard to say with the top 10. I say we mention it for now because I got to see what else. I got some more that I'm going to put on here still.
I got a couple other too that I might have to put over that one maybe. So I'm going to put it on the mentions, though. I'll put it on the mentions. Let me write it down. What is it? Anybody got anything from WrestleMania 8?
Savage and Flair. Yeah, it's not. Now I mean, it's actually this is in my top 10 as well. Now I know this might not be a popular opinion. It's number 10 in my list. Why is that? You take 2 of the best workers of the 80s, give them an incredible build-up story, and it pays off perfectly. With Flair, and then you look at Savage had to, he had to fight Flair, he had to fight Perfect, and he had to fight his own emotions to get the title. And then it took a time where the matches had climax at the climax. At the 12-minute mark, that's when Savage should have won when he hit the big elbow. But Perfect pulled the referee out of the ring. Right after that, Flair hits Macho Man with the brass knucks and he kicks out. Right after that, Perfect hits Macho Man in the leg with a chair. Right after that, Elizabeth comes out. And then, I mean, the whole match it's a crazy match, but it's one of my personal favorites. You look because both men are two of the best workers ever. They both ground the mic. After the match, the promos they cut. and then seeing Savage get the gold again with Elizabeth by his side, it's in my personal top 10 favorite WrestleMania matches. And I know it might be everyone else's, and I love Macho Man's attire for that match, the gold and black. So yeah, it's in my personal top 10.
Go ahead, Cameron.
Do you want me just to speak on this match? Because I have a different match.
I know which other match is from that show.
You can speak on this one and then go to your other match.
I know what the other match is.
That match is tough, man. So this is the first ever WrestleMania that my family ever ordered too. So that is why this WrestleMania has like a special place in my heart, kind of. I remember it. I watched it in my dad's room. He had the cable box ready for it. He paid whatever it was, $27, whatever it was at the time. And I remember this show. And I did a review for it. It's on my podcast. And when you're looking at the review for it, it's tough, man, because I don't think this is the best match on that card. I think it's the second best match, and those two were neck and neck for which one was better. But Bret the Hitman Hart versus Rowdy Piper is the one I want to bring up. Another two baby faces going at it for the IC title. You never thought Rowdy Piper would become the Intercontinental Champion. I know a lot of people like to dog Bret Hart because he lost to the Mountie. And yes, they used the whole he had the flu. That's why the Mountie was doo-doo and he won with a reverse roll-up. But in reality, Bret Hart was actually negotiating his contract with WCW, and they had to get the belt off of him immediately.
Oh, that's some great foreshadowing, isn't
it? But yes, and we'll get to that in a couple WrestleManias, but I definitely think this match needs to be on there. I love the Bobby Heenan on commentary. Piper has the ring bell in his hand. Bret's bleeding, which he said he told Vince he did it hard way, even though he cut himself. We find out later.
Yeah, I know about that.
He has the ring bell, and Piper's looking like he's going to go back to his old heelish ways, and Heenan's like, what the hell? Use the bell. Hit him with the bell. And Piper couldn't do it. So he throws the bell away, locks on the sleeper. Then we see the epic spot that we always see used on Samoa Joe or anyone else today, where he pushes his feet off the ropes, does that roll-up bridge, and every freaking person who has a sleeper hold acts like they can't get out of it. 1, 2, 3, Bret Hart wins the belt back, and Piper hands him the belt, puts it around his waist. It's a great moment. I think that match should be on there, too. I think I gave it an A- when I did my review for it. So I think it needs to be mentioned just as well as the Ric Flair Randy Savage one.
Those two matches are in the mentions too.
Yes.
Okay.
See, that's the thing about me. I love both matches. I'm not gonna like I don't. Here's why personally I put Flair and Savage over Piper and Bret. This comes down to the fact that I love Flair and Savage more than I like Bret Hart and Roddy Piper. I love all four of them, but like I said, Randy Savage is my favorite wrestler of the '80s, and Ric Flair is probably up there too. Granted, I didn't watch a lot of his work in the '80s, but still. So, and once again, the storyline and who was in it. That's why I put Flair and Savage over Piper and Bret. Now, I love both matches, but if you ask me to pick one, I got to pick the WWE Championship match. And it still pisses me off this very day that wasn't the main event that night.
What are you talking about? You had to have Papa Shango come out.
Yeah, they botched that. They botched that shit.
If I had to pick what match I like better, I definitely like the Piper and Bret match better than the main event match. But the main event, the Flair Macho Man match was good. But I don't know if it's top 10 though. Oh, man.
See, that's why I say it's on my personal top 10 list. I'm pretty sure that most people might not have either one of those matches in the top 10. But in terms of personal, yeah, seeing Savage win the gold again in a great match is in my top 10. But I don't know if we're being objective. Or either match top 10 matches, that's tough.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. I put in other mentions. We'll come back to it. So WrestleMania 9, nobody.
Skip. We only need to address that, Malik.
Skip now.
WrestleMania 10, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, ladder match. Go ahead, Conrad. What do you got? I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I had muted myself for a second. I definitely think that match has to be mentioned. The ladder match that influenced all ladder matches. I remember even seeing Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels in a ladder match from '92, but a lot of people don't speak on that. This is the one that's the classic because it has the moments. I never saw the ladder used like that before, to where Shawn doesn't go underneath and it's the bad luck thing, like, oh, not going under the ladder. And Razor comes out and he does the whole bad guy machismo underneath the ladder. Big Kevin Nash is out there and he eventually gets sent to the back. You saw the catapults into the ladder, Razor slamming it on Sean's back. It just looked way more brutal than anything else that we had ever seen. Razor had the height. Sean was short. We saw him jump off the ladder, that classic spot. It's got to be on here, man. The 2 Intercontinental titles being on the line, the great story of who's the real Intercontinental champion.
Yeah, this is on my list. It's definitely for me on my top 10 list. It's not my favorite ladder match, but it's definitely the most famous ladder match.
It's in my mentions for the record.
It's on my list. Like, I have it on my list.
It's not on my list. And don't get me wrong, great match, legendary match. Personally, though, it's not even my favorite ladder match between those two. I prefer that SummerSlam match, but that's just me. And it's easier to look at the SummerSlam match because it's on a garbage card. But that WrestleMania 10 match is not even my favorite match from WrestleMania 10. It's Bret Hart and Owen Hart. And this does come down to me being a big fan of technical wrestling and the story being told. Hell, Bret Hart and Owen Hart's in my top 10. It's number 7 on my list. So, once again, I love both. I love the ladder match, but if you ask me from WrestleMania 10, I like Bret Owen a little bit more than Shawn and Razor, especially because I like Shawn and Razor's SummerSlam ladder match more.
Well, I got it down in the mentions because that's on my list, so I had to write it down. And Conrad said it should be put in the mentions.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that being in the mentions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about skip WrestleMania 11? What about WrestleMania 12? Shawn versus Bret Iron Man match.
Oh,
well, hold on, wait a minute. What about Bret and Owen?
I said that.
No. Is it in the mentions?
We should at least give it a mention. In terms of opening matches, the greatest opening match.
I mean, we can mention one, but it's not my top 10.
We should at least save it for later because I think in terms of it's the greatest opening match.
It's the greatest opening match. I put number 2. Well, we'll get into that at WrestleMania 30. I think that's the second greatest. And I think this year, sorry, little plug for wrestlers today, Rey Mysterio, Andrade Cien Almas could be in that top 3. I'm telling you.
Give them 15 minutes, it will be.
All right, so I put it down in the mentions. Bret versus Owen. Now I'll talk about WrestleMania 12. Bret versus Shawn, the Iron Man match. First Iron Man match ever. No pinfalls in this match till the end. The story, obviously, you know the history between these two guys. The story we don't even go to the story. If you're a wrestling fan, you know the story is in general. Top 10 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. Conrad is on the list.
I love Shawn Michaels, just for the record. I remember the night. I remember sitting in my dining room. My favorite wrestler is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. My brother, who is probably going to watch this later or hop in here soon, is a huge Bret Hart fan. And I'll never forget sitting there with the action figures, the hard old joints. And we were sitting there watching it. And I'm like, dude, Shawn's finally got to win the belt, man. He deserves this. And it goes to a draw. And Bret Hart's going up the ramp. And I'm like, no, I know we did not just order this to see a draw. And I'm like, dude, this is so garbage. I'm so upset. And this is before how wrestling is today. And you know what's going to happen. Bret Hart's coming out. They used to see Gorilla Monsoon come out. My brother's happy. He's doing his dance like, yeah, he retained the belt. I told you, bro. And then all of a sudden, this match is going to sudden death.
There must be a winner.
Yes, I remember the 2 super kicks. 1, 2, 3. I'm happy. I eat a Bret Hart hard Hasbro action figure right to my lips.
Damn.
He threw that joint hard. Bow. And I'll never forget it. And then they had to explain to my brother, like, it's not real. He'll get the belt back one day and all that stuff. So if Casey Classic 7 is watching this, I hope he laughed at that story. Sorry, I had to tell it. But I love this match.
My favorite part of the end of the match is when Bret got to put the belt on Shawn and he's pushing out the way to get out the way. The damn belt on.
Yeah, that's messed up. That's some behind the scenes.
That's some behind the scenes shit.
I think this match did not age well. I loved it as a kid. I went back and rewatched it, and I love the psychology used behind it. I could go back and probably still watch it as a Shawn fan and a Bret fan. But overall, I don't think this match ages well. And I cannot put it in the top 10 for me personally. I don't think it is.
I'm glad
cut some of these matches.
You know, Conrad, I'm glad you said it so I didn't have to. I can't deny that. I mean, I don't think it's a bad match. Now, at times the match is kind of boring. I'm not gonna like it's not. It's great. 2 best workers in the company go for an hour and about 3 minutes. It's not a bad match, but it's not top 10 to me. I don't even think it's either man's best WrestleMania match.
No.
Hell, I'll even go further and say it's neither man's best match in '96. I would rather watch Shawn's match against Mankind in Mind Games and Brett's match against Austin at Survivor Series if I watch this match. So it's a good match, but not top 10.
Yeah, I don't think it's top 10 either. I mean, it's it's one of the best WrestleMania matches ever, but I don't think it's top 10. I do like how it's still the only Iron Man match that never had a fall until the end. Though I think that's pretty cool. They did that because I don't think that would work nowadays.
It wouldn't.
Generation.
I don't think it works now. That's what I'm saying. When you go back and like back then, it was genius to do that. Now it's kind of like, this is boring. You know what I mean? You could watch the first few minutes, skip all the way through, and nothing's happened.
And here's some behind the scenes stuff. It's funny because I think they didn't even plan. Brett and Shawn didn't even like plan the match out till like the day before, the day of. And I think like Shawn, like
real quick, I gotta go.
You said what? And like this is something like Shawn. I think like Shawn produced like wrote the first 20 minutes. Brett did the next like 40, and Shawn did the rest of the match. So, and the two planned the match like the day before the day of WrestleMania. So they barely practiced the match. Like they even like I said, one wrote half of the match, the other one wrote the other half. So that's kind of impressive right then and there. But the match itself is just meh.
All right. Gotta take care of some business real quick. So that match is not on the list. Let's move on. WrestleMania 13. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin submission match. This is no questions on my top 10.
It's number 3 on my list.
I watched this match last night, and this is no question. This is on my top 10 great WrestleMania match of all time.
Number 3 on my list.
Everything about this match was great. You had Bret Hart, ultimate babyface, going to this match. Stone Cold, the ultimate heel. And by the end of the match, Stone Cold is the babyface. Bret Hart is the heel. The finish, oh my goodness, the finish is so epic, dude. The blood coming down his face and pushing up with his hands. The blood is coming right down his face. No question, this makes my top 10 list. This is in my top 5. So, I mean, can we all disagree this is on the list?
Oh, it's number 3 on my list. Number 3 on my list.
Number 3 on my list as well.
Yeah.
We don't really need to even debate this match. Anyone that I think this is a rule. This is one of those matches that has to be in the top 10 WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, I mean, this match right here is just
so well done. The figure 4 around the ring post. Ken Shamrock as the referee, not taking no mess when he was a badass. Yeah, it's got to be easily.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to WrestleMania. I'll mention WrestleMania 14 because some people have Stone Cold versus Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels in their list. So, what about you guys? Is that top 10? Top 10 in your list?
I love it. I love it, but no, it's not my top 10. I love the match, but it's not my top 10.
I love that Mania overall. The match with Taka Michinoku and Aguilera. You had some good stuff all throughout that card. Shamrock Rock, but I don't think there's anything on there. I'm really trying to rattle my brain. I don't think there's anything on there that's like too crazy. Yeah. In my opinion, best Undertaker Kane Mania match, but
I'm glad someone else besides me thinks that's Undertaker Kane's best match. So
yeah.
Most people, I'm the only one that thought that.
I don't see what other Kane Undertaker match would be better than that.
No Kane Undertaker match had the storyline of that match either.
Right.
Austin, like I said, Brett and not Brett, but Shawn and Austin, good match, but I wouldn't put it on my top 10. Is there anything you guys want to mention? Anything you want to throw out from 15? Anything on 15 you guys want to put on there?
Keep moving.
I don't think.
I got nothing for 15 to be honest.
What about 16? The first triangle ladder match that was on WrestleMania between Edge, Christian, Dudley Boys, and the Hardys. You guys think is that one better than the one at 17?
I'll get to 17. We get to 17.
Same. With this one, I think it deserves a mention at least. So that was like the first kind of TLC match. TLC is just a name for it at that point, but it was basically the same kind of match.
Right.
I thought they did a tremendous job, but I felt they didn't have the star power behind them just yet. And this match gave them that star power to do what they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
It deserves a mention, maybe something we could come back to, but getting into that WrestleMania 2000 show.
No,
it's not. It deserves a mention, but it's not on my top 10. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't have that on my top 10. Unless Kyron, you got something to say about that, Kyron?
I ain't got nothing to say about that show. There's only two good matches to me from that show. We just talked about the best match, so no.
All right, so WrestleMania 17. In many eyes, the greatest WrestleMania ever. There are a lot of great things about this WrestleMania. Let's start with the other TLC match with Edge, Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudley Boys. To me, this was the better TLC match.
Obviously.
Everything about this match was great. I mean, like I think Conrad said it best. The first one, people they really didn't have that star power to them. You know what I mean? This rematch, though, was probably one of the top 3 greatest ladder matches in WrestleMania history. I mean, it's not the best. One of the best.
Well.
But is it top 10, though? Would you guys put that on your top 10?
It's on my... you can go.
This is my number 4 match out of my top 5 that I did a question on. I absolutely love this match. I remember going back watching it over and over and over again, and I remember all of the spots with everybody who came out. We can even talk about the classic Jeff Hardy holding on to man, dude. I never thought that would even work the way it did. His feet were caught in. They swung him forward, and Edge speared him off. That took like 2 years off of Edge's career. Every time I watch, I'm like, look at his knees, and he just fell over like dead. Even Matt Hardy taking horrible bumps to the floor on the outside. That's why Matt Hardy walks funny when people talk all that crap about him today. Remember these matches, though, because Matt put it all on the line for fans. Just classic, man. If you watch that, you'll just see cameras going off, like the Kodak cameras, like so many great moments in it. It has to be on the list for me.
It's in my top 10 now. It's number 9 on my list, but it's in my top 10 favorite WrestleMania matches. Yes, I think honestly it's the best ladder match in WrestleMania history. That includes WrestleMania 10. That includes WrestleMania 21, I mean. So yes, I do think this is the best WrestleMania ladder match in history. And here's one thing you don't notice until you actually look. It's not even that long of a match. It's only 15 minutes. The match isn't as long as like you remember, but the amount of stuff they piled into it. Yeah, and then you have Spike Dudley, Rhino, and Lita getting involved. And no one pulled any punches on this match. You have 2 iconic moments of Edge spearing Jeff off the ladder. Can you imagine? And then imagine they timed it perfectly. Any miscalculation in that spot is a disaster. And then you have Jeff hitting a swanton off the ladder through the 2 tables on Spike Dudley and Rhino. Yeah, that match is number 9 on my list. It's still incredible.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that match overall. I thought that it was very well done. Like you said, they incorporated Rhino, Spike Dudley, and Lita. So they got 2 other wrestlers over without having a match on the card at the same time. And each of them took a big bump in the match as well. So once again, I think that it was well done by all involved. I think that ladder match has to be on there.
All right, give me a second. I think it's on my list. It's on my list too. I have it on my list. Like I said, that's definitely the better match out of all the better ladder match they had at WrestleMania. What about Rock and Austin though? Main event, Rock and Austin. This is on my top 10 too.
I love the match.
This is definitely the best Rock Austin match at WrestleMania.
It probably is, but it's not in my top 10. I just like the ladder match a little bit more, and I think Austin turning heel does kind of make me sour on a little bit. And I love the match. If this is a top 15, it'll probably be on here, but it's not in my top 10.
I love this WrestleMania overall. Don't think there's a bad match on it, but when you look at the top 10 WrestleMania matches, I think there are others that will outshine this. But like you said, this is the best Rock Austin match, period, out of all of them. And I don't even think the heel turn's bad. I think that the heel turn was cool. The aftermath of the heel turn, like if you look 6 months later, you're like, that was a bad idea now. Bad idea for sure. But at the time, it sounded like a great idea.
Well, I'm putting down in the mentions for me because that's on my top 10 list that I have.
All right.
WrestleMania 18, Rock Hogan.
This is sort of just like with Hogan and Andre.
Go ahead.
All right. I think this is sort of just like Hogan and Andre. Spectacle, there's no question. Crowd reaction. My God. The crowd in that match. Like, I remember watching this match a few months ago, and my dad hadn't seen the match in a while. And I'm sitting there watching, I'm listening to the crowd, I'm like, damn, that loud as hell. But just like, and I do like this match. It's not in my top 10, But just like with Hogan Andre, if you look at it from in terms of in ring action, it's not that great, which is why it's not in my top 10. But I do love that match a lot.
Have you ever heard? I don't know who said this first, but have you ever heard of the reaction of watch that match on mute first and just look at the in-ring work? It is absolutely terrible. Like, it is god awful to watch. Like, if you watch The Rock throwing the punches, Hogan's barely selling. He's taking bumps horribly. But if you listen to the crowd throughout that match, when Hogan's hulking up, these people are going insane in Toronto, dude. Insane for this. And they knew after they're like, yo, Hogan can't be a heel anymore. This NWO stuff ain't working, bro. It's not.
And you know what's funny? When they heard the crowd, Rock and Hogan changed the match on the fly in the middle of the match. Like, that makes me wonder. Like, let's say they didn't get that reaction. Would there have been a Hulk up? Like, that's my whole thing. They actually changed a lot of what they were gonna do into what they did do. So it makes me wonder what the original match was gonna be like.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Rock was going to play the babyface role throughout, because when you look at The Rock, he is great at changing his pacing anytime throughout a match. The Rock has always been known as, how do I want to put this? Even with like the Brock Lesnar SummerSlam match, and I know we're getting off topic a little bit here, but The Rock could always sense, okay, these people are booing me. I need to go into the heel mode a little bit. So then he'll start doing the talking to the crowd. Yeah, you better start thinking and watch out for The Rock when he's doing stuff. And it still worked. And I was happy The Rock won, to be honest.
Yeah, I am too. But you know one thing that I find ironic, this is how you know nostalgia blinds people, and Hogan being turned babyface. Like 2 weeks for the match, Hogan tried to kill The Rock. And then they turn the babyface right after that. I mean, it's just like with Hogan Andre. It's one of those matches it's one of those, like, the first match you think about when you think WrestleMania. Just them, the crowd cheering and them just standing face to face and looking at the crowd for a whole minute. You can't tell me that's not one of the most epic things you've ever seen in your life. But like you said, you can't. It's some matches that are much better. You watch it with the crowd, and that's number one on my list of that. But in terms of top 10, no, it's not my top 10.
So it's not your top 10 either, Conrad?
I don't think so. I love the promos and lead up to it too. I just got to mention this one. When they first meet The Rock backstage, I think it was at SmackDown.
No Way Out.
He comes up, he's like, can I get a picture for my son? Yeah. The Rock's all cool. Picture for your son. But then you came in here with Chico, yo, bad guy. And he's doing all the Razor Ramon, and Diesel got so mad. He said he got so mad at The Rock.
That shit was funny.
Big Daddy bitch, all types of stuff. And he was like, why would you say that about somebody? I just saw him in a shoot interview, and he was so hurt by all of it. I'm like, dude, you'll never beat The Rock on the mic, bro.
No one can.
Same thing with CM Punk. He got mad at him too for all that stuff. But what do you think, Malik?
It's on my top 10. I have it on my top 10. I have it number 7 on my list. So,
please explain why. I got to hear this.
I got to hear this one too.
That's my top 10. I mean, to me, is the in-ring quality great? No, it's
not at all.
Not great at all. But everything else about this match is just phenomenal. The crowd, the build-up, and everything. Like you said, a lot of things changed in that match that people don't know about, like Aaron said. The match overall, the quality, like I said, isn't great. But if you go back and watch this, like, when, the crowd don't even know when he hits him with the leg drop and Rock kicks out, the crowd's like, oh, no. The crowd it's just everything, the stare down and before the match started, when they're looking back and forth at each other, looking at the crowd going nuts. To me, it's on my list. So I'm putting down as a mention. You come back to it because it's on my list. It's on my top 10 list. And I haven't watched the match in, it's been a while since I watched the match, but what about anything from WrestleMania 19? Any matches you guys want to mention from 19?
My gears are moving right now in my brain on that one. I'm trying to think. Actually, yeah, I got 2 matches that I could mention from it, but I'll let Kyrie go first. No, I talked a lot that last one. So.
Well, so did I. Is there any match from 19 that's on my top 10 if I'm looking back? Surprisingly, no. And I think 19 is one of the best WrestleManias. But if I had to put something in the mentions, because even though they're not in my list, Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle. Hell, I love Rock Austin, and I like Rock Austin in 3 more than the first match they had at 15. And to be honest, I like Vince versus Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
That's what I love about WrestleMania. I mean, I would like Triple H and Booker T if Booker T had won, but I'd rather not talk about that. But that's the thing about 19. It has at least 4 matches I really like, and none of them are on my top 10. But if you ask me 2 mentions, Lesnar versus Angle and Shawn Jericho was my match of the night.
I was going to mention both of those to see what you guys thought. I think they at least deserve mentions. And Hogan and Vince. I think that's one of Vince's top 3 matches personally. It was really good and way better than I had any business being once again.
And here's one thing about this match. Now, I don't know if I'll anger someone saying this, but when you watch it, Vince is the one that carried the match. Like, Vince carried it.
And even the spot with Piper that Bruce Pritchard orchestrated the whole thing, I guess, to have Piper come down from Oregon. He said, come on over, and then no one will see you if you drive in a car. He wears the trench coat, comes out with the pipe. Everyone thinks Piper's a good guy. He's going to make the move to hit Vince, and instead he hits Hogan because he always hated Hogan. It just fit together so perfectly. I think all 3 deserve a mention. That's just me, though, at least to come back to it.
Literally, the only thing about Hogan and Vince I would change is I'd have put it at WrestleMania 20 instead of WrestleMania 19. But that's it.
There's no matches I have on my top 10 list. I mean, Shawn and Jericho was the best match of the night to me. I think that was definitely the best match. Hogan and Vince, like you said, was way better than it ever should have been. Rock and Austin, I would say, was their second best WrestleMania match. I really like the finish when he hit him with those 3 rock bottoms because they don't really do stuff like that, like 3 finishes back to back to back. I like how they did that finish. Plus, it was Austin's last match. A lot of people didn't know at that time. And then Angle versus Lesnar was what it was until Lesnar almost killed himself.
Let me ask you guys a question about that Angle-Lesnar match. If Brock Lesnar hits that shooting star press, do we talk about this match way differently today?
Yes.
Yes. And you know what? I think this is the thing. Do we look at it? We would. I don't think even if Brock had hit the shooting star press, we would not look at that as one of the greatest WrestleMania moments ever. Almost shocking. The fact that he missed and that he landed on his head is what makes this match more famous, which is sad because the match is amazing. But I think if Brock had hit the shooting star press, it might have elevated the match. But at the same time, I don't think the match would live as famous as it did if it wasn't for that.
If he'd hit that shooting star press, I think it would have been a lot different because somebody his size shouldn't be doing it. Somebody the size of Brock Lesnar shouldn't be able to do star press like that. And he can do them because I've seen him do them many times in OVW. He can do the shooting star press, but that one obviously just wasn't the right time. Too far away. He wasn't in that moment. So I mean, I wouldn't put it in the top 10. It's a good match. And plus I think a lot of people don't know Kurt Angle had a broken neck in that match too. So he wrestled with a broken neck. So maybe if he didn't have a broken neck, they could have did a lot more things better in that match too. So
do you guys know why Kurt thinks he missed the shooting star press?
Why? You said what?
Kurt said why he thinks Brock missed the shooting star press.
Because Kurt was too far away from the ropes?
Nope. They were rushing through the match because they were running out of pay-per-view time, and Kurt said, don't rush. Vince will get the time. Don't worry about it. And they were like, go home now. And Brock started freaking out because remember, he's a rookie. He doesn't know.
Somebody told him too that he didn't ever mention the name, but he said that somebody told him it would be a big WrestleMania moment for
it still is.
And it would be. It would have been, I think, if he hit it. But when Brock went off, he was rushing. He was too nervous. He didn't take his time on it. And Kurt said
just imagine if he landed like backwards on his neck, like did a flip, but it landed like on the back of his neck, like
yeah.
Oh my God.
I still think if Brock didn't have so much muscle, he would have killed himself.
Yeah, easily. I mean, if you go back after the match, when when he's sitting on the ropes like that, you can look in his eyes, like he's just staring like into nothing. Like you can look in his eyes, you're like, this guy's like lost right now. He has no idea what he's at.
And that's saying something. When Kurt came into the match with a broken neck, but you could argue Brock left almost as fucked up as Kurt was.
Yeah, so I wouldn't put any match on here in the top 10. There are a lot of great mentions, like you said. I think Shawn and Jericho was the best match on that card. And the last 3 matches were pretty good too. But top 10, I wouldn't put any match on top 10.
Before we get to 20, so what's on the list right now? Is it only?
We got 3 matches so far. We got Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat, Bret versus Austin in the ladder match. So let's go to WrestleMania 20. I want to start with Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero because this is my favorite match on the card. We'll get to the main event here, but I don't think it's top 10, but I think it deserves a mention. I think this was Kurt Angle's best match at WrestleMania besides the one at 21.
Oh, okay.
This was Eddie Guerrero's best match at WrestleMania that he had. Obviously, I think it was better than the Mysterio match. What do you guys think?
Well, since we're just talking about the WWE Championship match, obviously it's a good match. It's Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero. Those two, I don't think they're capable of having a bad match together. But that's just it. It's a very good match, but it's not in the top 10.
Same thoughts. Oh, go ahead if you were going.
I was just gonna say, the ending of the match is just classic Eddie Guerrero taking off the boot. But it's not the top 10.
Yeah, I think Kurt Angle and Eddie did a great job. It's a solid match that keeps. Here's the weird thing about a lot of WrestleManias. A lot of great WrestleMania matches happen at not so great WrestleManias, and people don't seem to realize that. But the great manias are just solid throughout. Like when you look at them like that. And this is a mania that I think is kind of hit or miss. Some good matches in here, but there's also some what was that? And this match is kind of one of those. It's solid. They did what they were supposed to do, but I think they would go on to have better matches later on and stuff too. The finish is phenomenal, though. You know the match I want to talk about, which is the next one.
Let's talk about the triple threat: Benoit versus Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. One of the best WrestleMania main events I think I've ever seen. Plus, I watched this. This was actually no. I think that back, Conrad. I said 21. This is the first WrestleMania I ordered, and I loved Chris Benoit when I was a kid. I don't care what happened with the guy in his past. I loved Chris Benoit when I was a kid, and I was like you, Conrad. I did not think he was going to win the title. There's no way he's beating Shawn Michaels, Triple H. There's no way this is happening. And Triple H taps at the end, and I couldn't believe it. And when Eddie Guerrero came out at the end too, oh my god, the moment was just my two favorite wrestlers right there. How can this not be a great WrestleMania moment? So I mean, top 10. What do you guys think? So Kyron.
Not only is it top 10 on my list, it's number 2. I love this match. I still love this. I loved it when it was literally 2 days from my 4th birthday. I loved it back then when I was 3. I love it now I'm 18. It's still one of my favorite matches ever. And just a side note, the moment with Eddie and Benoit after the match is my favorite WrestleMania moment of all time. So of course this match is number 2 on my list. Everything about it is good. The story, I mean, it's so good they recycle it 10 years later. But we'll get to WrestleMania 30 when we get there. But this is number 2. Not only is it not top 10, it's number 2 on my list.
Yeah, I get sad talking about he who we shall not speak of. But yeah, I love Chris Benoit. I said it on the last show, the whole thing. And Kyron mentioned this before. Last week we did the top 10 greatest wrestlers, and I mentioned that I was not a fan of Triple H. I know a lot of people were ready to. Someone said they were going to smack Hoofy off my head or something. I don't know what he said last week because I said Triple H should not be in the top 10. But Triple H burying Booker T is the reason I had fear going into this match. I never thought Chris Benoit was going to win that Royal Rumble, and we can get into that a whole nother time of my top 10 Royal Rumble matches and such.
Yeah,
but
I had that debate on here.
Yeah. But when you look at this, dude, this is such a great moment. Shawn Michaels entering into the match. I was like, okay, something's up with that. Why would Shawn be in here? Maybe they don't have enough faith in Benoit to carry promos that they're going to do this. But I think Shawn and Triple H respected the hell out of Chris Benoit. Hence why they both used the crossface and stuff still to this day, even though they're not supposed to mention him. I think they pay tribute to him by doing that. And I feel that Chris Benoit really had a great moment. That roll through, like I remember Triple H is right near the ropes. And when
they rolled. Oh man,
that's the part in the match where you're like, yes, yes, and then he does the weakest tap out ever. I love it, dude. Absolutely. Then the moment with Eddie after, I think this is in the mentions at least. And
here's one thing, and it's mainly because I was a little kid. I remember because during that time I hated Triple H because he used to always win. And it's not like that now. Not different ways than now because he was a bad guy, but now it's different. But that's neither here nor there. I was expecting I thought Triple H was gonna win. Honestly, I did when I was little. And when Benoit had Triple H in the crossface, I was honestly expecting the Evolution to come out.
My thing is, I was like 6 when I watched this, and my brother's favorite wrestler of all time is Triple H. He fucking loves Triple H. His favorite wrestler of all time. And he's a lot older than me, so he was like, dude, no way. He was just hyping my head up, and I was like, dude, he's not winning this match. And then when he tapped out and won, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, are you serious? He tapped out. And then Eddie Guerrero coming at the end, the moment was just so beautiful. It's my 2 favorite wrestlers, the champions now. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. I don't think I would sleep. I didn't go to sleep that night. I'm so happy.
Yeah, that's definitely, and.
Well, we could put it in the mentions. We'll put it in the mentions because
It's on my list. So
I don't know if I would put it on my list, but we can definitely come back to it because it's definitely one of the best WrestleMania main events, I think. Let's go into 21.
Your favorite, Malik?
My favorite WrestleMania of all time. This is my favorite WrestleMania of all time. I can go back and watch WrestleMania from start to finish. It's not stop. Let's talk about the Money in the Bank ladder match, the first one. This is the first Money in the Bank ladder match they ever had. A lot of people didn't really know what it was about back then. What do you guys think about this?
You can go first, Conrad. I always go first. You go first.
I think that Money in the Bank matches are going to be the cheat codes for a lot of these WrestleManias going forward, at least until they end, because the Money in the Bank always delivers. It's a car wreck. How can you not like it? It's kind of like the TLC matches. If you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you, bro. But I think that match is really good, but the whole Mania, I'm trying to think if there's any other matches that I truly loved on this card, and I can't think of any other.
Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels?
Shawn Michaels?
Excuse me, my bad. And that's in my top 5 too. I should have remembered.
Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Me and Malik
I thought we were one away because I was too focused on 20. But the Money in the Bank is good, but I don't think it's the best match on the card. So I say no to the first one.
Another match I don't think it's top 10, but I really like it. Undertaker versus Randy Orton. I really like that match. Undertaker versus Randy Orton. It's not top 10, but I really like that match.
You know what? It was a sleeper match. The problem with that one was if Orton would have hit like a nice RKO out of that chokeslam, I could have really believed it was over. Yeah, I thought it was for a second watching it. Like, is this it?
I like the whole Bob Orton thing coming out with the cast and everything, and then the whole finish. I really like that match. But Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels definitely got it.
Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels. It's number 6 on my list. Literally, Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels are my 2 favorite workers of all time. They're my 2 favorite workers of all time. So you put those 2 on the grand stage, you know you're gonna get magic. That match is definitely top 10 to me.
And the finish to this match, he had Kurt Angle. I don't know how long he had him in the ankle lock. It seemed like
had to be at least a minute.
It seemed like it was forever. Like when I watched it live, I was in the ankle lock forever. Like what's gonna happen? Then he tapped out, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't think Kurt Angle was gonna win that match either. And I rooted for Kurt Angle. I wanted Kurt Angle to win that match.
See, when I was little, I wanted Shawn to win. Because when you're literally just wanted all the babyface to win.
Yeah. I like Kurt Angle, and I wanted him to win that match, and that match was phenomenal. I wish they would, and that was a Raw and SmackDown match too. They both weren't even on the same brand at the time.
That's what made the brand split so good, which is what they don't do nowadays.
Yeah, both brand split matches were great. Were great at WrestleMania. Taker and Orton, and then Shawn versus Angle. But Shawn Angle's in my top 10. Conrad.
My apologies too, because when I think of this Mania, so I always forget about the Shawn Kurt match because I always think of this as the coronation of John Cena beating JBL and Triple H Batista. But Shawn Michaels Kurt Angle is in my top 5, so I'm definitely saying it's on the list. I can't think of anything different than what you guys already said. Absolutely loved it, and I wanted Shawn to win because he's my favorite, and I didn't care how old I was back then. Shawn was the man.
So we're all in agreement this match is top 10.
Yeah, this is top 10. No question. Top 10.
Okay, so that's a 4th match you can put on the list.
So we got 4 matches now on the list.
And we still got 15 more or 14 more Manias. So
what about 22? I think the best match on 22 was the hardcore match, by the way. I don't think it's top 10. But I think Edge and McCool, that's my favorite match on the card.
See, dude, my brain's starting to get fuzzy around this time period because I was in high school partying and stuff. So if you wonder why I forget some of these, this is where it starts.
There's another Money in the Bank ladder match on here. I don't think it's top 10, but we can mention it if you guys want to talk about it.
Is that the one with Ric Flair and Finley?
Yeah. It's a step back from the previous year.
Yeah.
And with the next 2, this is one of the.
And just think about this definitely was in top 10. Supposedly, the match at WrestleMania was supposed to be Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero.
I was about to bring that up.
If that match had happened, that would have been top 3 greatest WrestleMania match of all time. I don't care what anybody says. I'm calling it right now. I mean, that match, no question, would have been on this list if that would happen.
Malik, I was literally about to say the exact same thing. I mean, that's one of the saddest things, that we were going to get Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, and we know those 2 would have killed it. And the match could have been about so much. It could have been, been about faith. Both on board again Christians. You could have had so much about that, and we know how good it would have been, but we didn't get it. That's a sad thing. And you kind of notice, even though Shawn's match with Vince was good, you felt like Shawn and Undertaker to a extent should have had more. No disrespect to Mark Henry and Vince McMahon, but I felt like Shawn Undertaker was kind of not wasted, but could have been used better at WrestleMania 22.
Yeah, I don't think. Obviously, the plans for Shawn Michaels were Eddie Guerrero. I don't know if the plans for maybe the plans were always for Mark Henry or Undertaker, but I think after the whole Eddie Guerrero thing happened, I think they kind of just they knew what they wanted to do with John Cena that year. They knew what they wanted to do with Rey Mysterio after after the whole thing and everything. So I mean, I think that was something to throw them in there. The match was good though. I mean, Shawn Michaels can have a match with Broomstick in any 5-star match. So I mean, the match was Shawn Michaels obviously carried the match. It was a good match. It was what it was. But I don't think there were any matches on here that were top 10.
I think Shawn Vince was better than it had any business being. Once again, I keep saying that a lot with Vince and Hogan, if you guys peep it. And Shawn carried that match. He absolutely did his thing. Rey Mysterio doesn't deserve the disrespect I hear some people give him, that the only reason he got the belt was because Eddie died.
I mean, to be fair, that is the only reason he got it, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but you could have chose Chavo, so why'd you pick Rey over Chavo?
Because very simple, with simple marketing. Rey, let's be honest, Rey is always going to be more over what the fans do, this charisma and look. Chavo has never been really good on his own, so obviously you give it to Rey.
Yeah, but I just think that Rey Mysterio gets disrespected. I think he's still one of the greatest cruiserweights for wrestlers, period, of all time. I think Rey's really good and underrated when it comes to that. I'm trying to think of what else was on the show. We had that John Cena Triple H match that was
I like it.
All right. I mean, it played off the Benoit ending, the whole, this is going to be a cakewalk for me. And then he lost anyway still. And they had that stupid big time theme. Oh, that's what I was going to mention to you guys. Did you know that Mark Henry was at first considered to win that match against The Undertaker?
Oh, God.
I just heard that on Bruce Pritchard's podcast this week. They went through Undertaker from 04 to 06, and Bruce Pritchard said he remembers the meeting when they were like, we're going to have a meeting about who Undertaker's facing at Mania. And then he was like, I want Mark Henry. That big son of a bitch is going to end the streak. And then Bruce was like, huh? He was like, wait, what? He just felt he wasn't ready for it yet. And then throughout the vignettes and everything, Vince was like, yeah, let's scale that back. He's not ready for it yet. But Mark has improved.
Dude, I wonder how many times Vince actually thought about it in the streak, man. It's how many times did he go before he went to Lesnar? Like, how many times did he say this is the year?
12. They were gonna have Diesel beat Undertaker at 12, but then he was leaving for WCW. 21, I think they were originally gonna have Randy Orton win that match.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
If you're talking 22, like if you count 22, I think honestly this is, and you could say this might be a little bit of conspiracy. I think if Paul Bearer didn't die, CM Punk would have ended the streak at WrestleMania 29. I honestly think that.
I don't think that. I think the streak was too valuable at that point. I think you said all the other ones. I think 22 could have been when Abyss came in, depending on how they felt about him, because that was rumored too that Abyss was going to come in and fight instead of Mark Henry if he wasn't ready.
He didn't leave TNA at the time.
Who else?
That's crazy. He turned into a match.
They said Kurt Angle was rumored to have a match with him at one point and end it.
Yeah. Speaking of Kurt Angle, I'm glad you brought that up because you know how Undertaker and Kurt Angle had the match of the year at No Way Out the previous month in my hometown of Baltimore, even though I didn't get to go see it. That match was supposed to be at WrestleMania because Undertaker always wanted a WrestleMania Classic. And he told Kurt, if it means losing you, I don't mind that as long as I can get the Classic. And the sad thing is the match they had at No Way Out was so good. If that match had been on WrestleMania, that match might be in this list.
That match would have been in the list, I think. But I think at the time, they already had the Orton Mysterio match at that pay-per-view too, so it was kind of just like,
That's
I think they kind of maybe wanted that, but the booking was just already leaning towards that. So I mean,
then you had the big time theme, which wasn't even the best theme from WrestleMania 22.
Oh no, I just remember, how could you forget that big time? Like they went back in time when they did that theme. I was just like,
I do like the WrestleMania set. I did like that WrestleMania set. I thought the set was cool, and I like the entrances between John Cena and Triple H. Those they don't really do entrances like two main event entrances like that anymore. I thought those entrances were pretty cool.
Well, it's John Cena and Triple H. They're like the WrestleMania entrance goats. They usually both always get a special WrestleMania entrance.
Well, Triple H gets one every year. So I mean,
Triple H always gets one.
He gets one every year. So let's talk about 23. Anything from 23 you guys want to put on there?
Nothing's on the list in my personal top 10. I love the money. I mean, WrestleMania 23 is actually like my second favorite WrestleMania, but I love the Money in the Bank. I love Batista Undertaker, and I'm probably the only person on planet Earth that likes Shawn Michaels versus John Cena more than Batista versus Undertaker. I'm probably the only person that likes him more, mainly because at the time Cena and Michaels were my two favorite wrestlers, and I just love that match. That match literally had like had me, my mother, and my father on the edge of our seats. We didn't know who. Like, I mean, obviously John was gonna win, but at the time you didn't know that. I'm like, oh my, like, is John gonna win? Is Sean gonna win? Like,
when I say, look, when I would say I was a diehard John Cena fan as a kid, I was a John Cena.
I was too.
And any match John Cena was in, dude, my heart was like this
Mine
match.
too.
This match with Shawn Michaels, I was like, bro, he's gonna win. He's not gonna win. And then he tapped out. I was like, oh, he tapped out Shawn Michaels. I was like, this is crazy. Like, the match is good. I don't think there are any matches that will make my top 10. This was a really good WrestleMania though. I think this was a really good WrestleMania, one of the sleeper WrestleManias. Conrad, is there anything that you want to mention that will be in this list?
I'm just gonna go opposite of him just because I think this is the most argued. What is the best match on this Mania? It's always between that Shawn Michaels, John Cena. I've heard a mix. Some people are on that camp, and then there's the Undertaker Batista. I think that the Undertaker Batista match was all. I think they're on par with each other. I think it's like you can go either way. I think I feel sorry for Undertaker more so because he had to have so many like bad matches with people who it's like, dude, who would have picked to have a match with El Gigante at WrestleMania?
Oh God.
Yeah, I just felt bad.
Johnny Gonzalez, King Kong Bundy.
Yeah, and I thought Batista was another person. I thought they were really high on him, and he could have been the guy to end the streak at one point. Batista bombed him. He gave Undertaker a really good match. So I got nothing bad to say about that one.
Yeah.
Not on my list or anything, but
nothing's on my list. But
let's talk about 24.
Oh, my favorite WrestleMania.
What about Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair? The Money in the Bank. Let's skip the Money in the Bank. There's no Money in the Bank that's making my list.
No, even though that's my personal favorite Money in the Bank ladder match.
Let's talk about Shawn Michaels with Ric Flair. This match. Once again, Shawn Michaels carries another match at WrestleMania. 59-year-old Ric Flair retiring. Pretty much everybody knew this was going to be the last match, but when it happened, the moment is coming now. Now Ric Flair is that 1, 2, 3, and the ending noise and saying "I love you." Oh my God, it was so beautiful. But top 10, I'm going to get your guys' opinions first before I give my opinion. Let's start with Conrad, and we'll go to Conrad.
Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels is a classic. The definition of what WWE was becoming was trying to tell a story with people using their words, different things like that. And you'll see, I could probably explain it in some of the other matches going forward, but this was the first one that I noticed. The match work is sloppy, and I get it. Rick couldn't catch Shawn for all those spots. Rick was starting to get too old, slowing down, whatever. But Rick deserved this moment because of who Ric Flair is. And I know Shawn Michaels and Triple H said it a bunch of times to him. Damn it, you're Ric Flair. You don't need any of this other stuff. You don't need to worry about having good matches. I think it's in the mentions and something that should definitely be brought up once again out of all the WrestleMania matches. I thought it was really good. And I actually love this WrestleMania too on the low. Like a lot of people don't mention 24. I really like 24. It brought me kind of back in.
I like 24 a lot too. Kyron?
Well, I'm biased because it's the best match of my favorite WrestleMania. It's in my top 10. It's number 8 on my list. It's just one of those matches. Like I remember, where I was and what happened. Watching it. Like I remember the part when, I remember part early in the match when Shawn was about to go for Sweet Chin Music and he caught himself, and Rick put him in a figure 4. I remember my father saying, "That's his idol. We can't do it." I remember Shawn going for the moonsault, nearly broke his ribs going through the table because the table gutted him. I remember Rick kicking out of a Sweet Chin Music. I remember Shawn locking in the figure 4. I remember the little stuff like when Rick hit the cross body and Jerry Lawler yelled out it actually worked. I just remember that. I just remember so much about that match, and of course the ending still gets me every time. It's in my top 10. It's number 8.
We'll come back for the mention because I think you deserve the mention. It's one of the best. Probably definitely reflects the best WrestleMania match to me. I think it's the best WrestleMania match because the last match.
Isn't it sad, real quick, just when you think about the ending too? Ric Flair getting up, crying, like this dude's already crying, getting up. He's like, "Bring it!"
Because he already knew what was about to happen. It's just like,
it's just a sad moment, man. It was well done.
And then I love then the video patch that played for the match. First going through Rick's career, and then the old yellow comparison. Granted, I'm
just happy that Mike Adamle didn't screw up that interview before the match started because we all know how he was in the WWE. So I mean, I was just happy he didn't botch anything. Another match I want to mention though, my favorite match on the card was Undertaker versus Edge, the main event. I don't think it's top 10, but I think it deserves a mention. This is my favorite match on the card. I was really surprised that they put Edge in the main event. I didn't think they were going to do the main event. I thought it was going to be a triple threat match.
Do you know what would have made that match better that they ruined at 23? If Edge would have never been put in that match at 23, you could have said Edge was undefeated at WrestleMania and The Undertaker's undefeated at WrestleMania. You could have told that story.
And you might as well have had Edge win that Money in the Bank because he cashed in on Undertaker with that one anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, but Malik, you know, it's funny you bring that up. When I was little, I actually loved Edge Undertaker more than Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. But as I'm older, I have a new appreciation for Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, and I had that over it now. But that entire WrestleMania, I love. There's not a single match I don't like about that show. Even Floyd Mayweather in the Big Show, I think is the best celebrity match in WrestleMania history. But yeah, Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair is in my top 10.
So let's move on to 25. There's only one match on this list.
And it's number one on my list.
Number one.
It's number one.
This is the greatest match I've ever witnessed in my life. I watched this live. This match was so good that my grandma doesn't even watch wrestling. She watched with me. She said that was a fucking great match. My grandma doesn't even watch wrestling. She said, "Holy, that was a great match."
So
what is not great about this match? There's nothing besides the camera.
You know what though? I thought the build to this was a little bit weak.
It was.
Like, they could have done so much more.
I think the career match had a better build up.
Obviously.
But I love the story of the match in and of itself. The whole Shawn Michaels wearing white and Shawn Michaels is good versus Undertaker who's wearing the all black and he's coming from hell to come get Shawn. It's weird, like when you put it all together.
Oh yeah. Now I mean,
did you hear the story? Did you hear the backstage story when I guess Taker and Shawn were in the locker room and somebody came in and Taker said, "We'll match you on the card." And he said number 4, and he said, "Oh, let's turn it up to another notch." And Shawn was like, "Oh, all right then."
Oh man. Yeah, we don't need a debate. This is not even this. We're not gonna ask is it top 10. The question is, do we all have it at number 1?
Yeah, it's number 1 on my list.
Number 1.
Right, good. So put that down, Malik. We know that's number 1 on us. We know it.
I mean, this match is just the beauty of this match was great. Like I said, I think the build-up was a little weak too. I did like though how they kind of made it seem like that Shawn Michaels was in Taker's head because Taker never really got the advantage in the build-up. He was always super kicking him, and I really liked the whole casket thing when he flipped up the casket, but he was underneath the casket, and everybody thought he was underneath the casket, and then he came out underneath the casket, super kicked him. I like stuff like that, but definitely the 26 build-up was better.
Now, back to what I was saying before, though, about the little things you start to notice. So it starts with Shawn and Rick. This match, the facials. It's weird to see the facial expressions because you remember all of that. And basically, like the tombstone pile driver. 1, 2, he's got the tongue out. You think it's over. He kicks out, and he's got the stupid look on his face like, what do I have to do? And I hate the dude in the crowd who's got the I don't know if he's wearing a Seattle Seahawks shirt, the basketball jersey. He ruins the ending when you go back to watch it. So Shawn's going up for the moonsault, and this dude stands up.
He's going
he's like, and I'm like, dude, sit down and stop ruining it for little kids. And
it was obvious. It was pretty obvious to him when he went up to that.
Yeah, but I was so caught up in the moment when it was happening, I didn't notice that. Like I miss things like that until I go back and rewatch them. I'm like, oh, Seattle.
The one that I thought was cool though, when he flipped up from the ropes and he called him like that.
When he skinned the cat.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, he did the tombstone, and then he tombstone it. I was like, oh my god.
You know, it's funny, Malik. You said you watched that match with your grandmother. I watched it with my grandmother too, and she was in love with Shawn Michaels. Like she loved him. And mind you, I came in the match. I didn't really care who was gonna win. But when she started rooting hard for Shawn, I said, I got to take my man, take a side on this one. And one of the funniest moments, I will never forget, this still makes me laugh. It was a part when she was yelling at Shawn to give Undertaker the kick. Undertaker, she's like, yelling, kick him. And Undertaker just gave Shawn one of the best big boosts he ever gave him. She said, not you. That cracked me up. But I literally called it. And as soon as Shawn went for the moonsault, I said, you about to catch him for a tombstone.
Yeah. But I actually kind of thought when he hit that last super kick, when he was stumping the mat, I was like, he's not gonna hit this. Then he hit it. I was like, oh my god, he might actually do it.
That part did get me because I just was not expecting. Like think about it. Towards Shawn's later years, he in his biggest matches, he never really hit a lot of sweet chin music from tuning up the band. So no one expecting him to hit that one.
Yeah, nobody expected him. I didn't think he was gonna hit it, and he hit it. And I was like, oh my god, he might. And then he kicked out. I was like, this is crazy. So I mean, this is definitely number 1. We can talk about this match forever. I mean,
we all got it.
Let's jump into 20. Let's jump into 26. Let's jump into the rematch with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Let me explain myself. I was not happy when they because I want to see Undertaker fight somebody new. We saw this match last year. Let's see him fight somebody new at WrestleMania this year. But then the build up, I was like, oh my goodness, the build up to this match was absolutely spectacular. I mean, the build up to this match is absolutely phenomenal. Did he leave?
I think he left because you said that foolishness. This is absolutely a great match, dude. I love the build to this match. I'll never forget that night on the Slammies. I'm probably gonna talk about the build more than anything.
Yeah, the build was the best part.
Yeah, when he sat there, he got the award for match of the year, and he's sitting there, and then all of a sudden he goes, "You know, Undertaker, I can beat you," and that's where it all starts, and everybody pops for it. And he tries to force his way into these matches, and Sean's like obsessed, like he doesn't even care about the title.
If I'm not mistaken, it started with the Rumble, right? The Royal Rumble, the end of the Rumble,
right? And my favorite part, Sean getting eliminated from that Rumble, where he's got his hands on the ropes, and he's kind of like, oh,
but he kicks the refs.
Yeah.
And then, did he come back the next night and challenge Taker again? The next night,
next night was when
they lost the tag belts too. Triple H was getting mad at him.
Right, and then in the chamber, he lost his spot in the chamber. He had a qualifying match, didn't win. And then we know what happened in the chamber. He comes up from the chamber,
and I liked how they used all of that to build up that match. And the best part was, I'll never forget, I was sitting in this room actually, and this is back when I was broke and I didn't have a lot of money, and I had my little bed sitting over here, and I was just getting ready to like lay down because I just got a new job. Or no, what year is this now?
2010.
2010. No, I was probably getting ready for work then at Lowe's still when I used to work there. And I remember watching it with my girl's brother, Big Rob, who's on my podcast often. And we were sitting there and they were like, oh, I accept. And then Sean's walking out the ring and he puts that one leg through the rope. And I'll never forget, my heart dropped instantly in that moment because I knew on one condition. And I was like, no. He can hear me still screaming no.
My favorite part to that is, they're doing the whole promo, whatever, and he's obviously he comes back in the ring and he says, he challenges him to the potential that put your career in line, and then Shawn says, if I can't beat you, I have no career. I was like, oh,
dude, that promo, if you only could.
Oh man, don't do this to me.
Hates that shit. My wife and brother, everybody knows all the words to it in my house because they're like, dude, you played that shit so many times, bro. I know the words.
That is
it
if you ask me, that's probably, in terms of WrestleMania promos, like video packages, that's up there with Rock Austin in 17 and Daniel Bryan's Monster promo is my 3 favorite WrestleMania video packages. I don't think it's as good as the first match.
It couldn't be.
You're asking them to follow, to reach a bar that's too high to reach. But it's not my top 10. In terms of build up, it is, but match wise, I think especially Undertaker's leg injury kind of kind of hindered the match a little bit. I love it, but it's not my top 10.
This is the beginning, in my opinion, of Undertaker's downturn of quality of matches because they had to do the whole Shawn took his leg out. Undertaker wasn't delivering basically he had to be in there with someone who could dance with him. He wasn't going to carry someone else.
I feel like, and he's had other great matches. We'll get into those in a minute, but I feel like this is the point where his injuries start to take hold of his body. He can start to tell. This is when he started taking time off, for the whole year, and would come back to WrestleMania.
Yeah. Real quick before we get off this match, I just want to say one more thing. I love the ending. Once again, I'm gonna bring up the finish. The whole storyline, if you guys understand, the ending was Shawn. You remember the phrase where they used to always say Shawn Michaels doesn't lay down for anybody, and Undertaker's yelling, stay down, and then he slapped him across the face because he came in defiant. He's gonna go out defiant, and that jumping tombstone broke my heart. And there's another dude in the crowd on this one. So when they're doing the final count, it's 1, 2, and there's a guy sitting there for the kick out, and then when you see the 3 goes just like that. Watching people in the crowd is the best part when you go back to rewatch those. He puts his head down just like this, and I felt it. I remember everybody leaving my house that night just like, it's all right, dude. Don't cry, man. It's all good. And I was like, dude, don't touch me. Get out my house.
Oh, man.
Jumping tombstone. When he hit that jumping tombstone, I was like,
it's over.
That's it right there, man. It's going to be over in there. Definitely deserve a mention, though. Best match on the card. 27, Triple H.
No.
Best match on the card. This was one of the worst WrestleManias that I had. That's probably one of the worst WrestleManias I can ever watch since I've been alive. This was the only match I've actually gone back and watched WrestleMania. I've never gone back and watched another match. What do you guys think about this match?
It's good, but it's not top 10. I wouldn't even put this over that WrestleMania 17 match.
No, I don't. That's tough. That's tough. I think this is the best match. So I think maybe we're looking at it with rose-colored glasses because I thought that was the match of the night that night. And then Cody and Rey Mysterio were second. I'm like, thank God The Rock's on this show because this would be going in that 9-11 category, and I think it's just above those two. But
what about Randy and Punk was good?
No, that was 26. This is Ray and Cody.
Yeah, Ray and Cody faced each other that night, and Randy Orton faced Punk that night.
That's when he RKO'd him when he had his little RKO from the top.
Yeah, Ray fought. Was he dashing Cody Rhodes or was he doing the?
That was the Phantom of the Opera mask stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Everyone talks about how 27 is garbage, and it is. Like, no one's gonna ever say it's a good WrestleMania. It's definitely one of the worst, but it still has at least 3 quality matches. I would say, Triple H, Undertaker, Cody and Ray, and Randy and Punk. That alone makes me say it's not as bad. It's not as bad as 9, 11, and 2. Hell, I will even say this, and I'm probably gonna piss some people off. It's better than 13 because 13 had one good match. Granted, it's better than any match on 27, but 13 only had one good match. Think about it. If you took Brett and Austin off 13 would be much worse. People would look at it much worse than they do.
Yeah, I put 13 and 27 in like that same slot. Like it's bad, but how bad does it get?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on to 28. The Hell in a Cell match. Undertaker, Triple H. This is definitely in my top 10. No questions on my top 10. This match right here was absolutely. My emotions were all over the place, man. The super kick and the pedigree and the kick out. My goodness, man. I watched this. This is when my friends were kind of still in the wrestling, and we all ordered. I had to beg my mom, please order this pay-per-view after watching the match. And me and my 3 friends were watching this match, and I wish YouTube was famous back then because I wish we recorded our stuff and put it out there because we went viral. I promise you. Everybody was into this match. I mean, it was like insane, dude. Everything about this match was crazy. The build-up I thought was really good too. Triple H was, saying, Undertaker's a brand, and I'm not gonna extinguish that flame, and I'm not gonna accept it because he wants me to end him. I'm not gonna do it. Then he hits that line, well, Sean's better than you, and Triple H comes back down the ramp and says, "You want it?" And then he says, "Hell in a Cell." I was like, "Oh my gosh, the goosebumps in my body was like crazy." What do you guys think about this match?
It's not in my top 10. That's the thing. I like it, but it's not in my top 10. I think that's the problem with it. And I'm not saying I didn't like Shawn this match, but if you rewatch it, you can't tell me Shawn was being a little bit too forced at times. Like, it was at one point when Triple H was beating Undertaker with a chair, and Shawn was saying, "Let me stop the match." I'm like watching, like, what he did to him at WrestleMania 27 was miles worse than what he's doing now. I get what they were trying to do, but they were trying a little bit too hard to tell that story they were trying to tell, and they still told it well. But at times, Shawn was a little bit too over the top.
It felt like Shawn wanted to really be in the match instead of being a part of the match. And the super kick pedigree combo was probably the best part in that match. That I thought it was over, not gonna lie. When he kicked out of that, I was like, oh hell, this is a good match. But yeah. I thought there were other matches that had me more invested in 28. Like Triple H is not beating The Undertaker, bro. I knew like going in. But I loved this Mania was good on the low. I feel like the biggest sleeper matches on this one were the CM Punk Chris Jericho match.
Yes.
People don't talk about that one enough. That was really good. And I absolutely love the build for John Cena and The Rock. I get it. It's like a Hogan Andre, but I think it needs to be mentioned. They did a good job building that. And Cena looking sad as hell on that ramp made me feel so good when I saw that. I was like, hell yeah, hit that rock bottom. Look sad, because you should, because The Rock's back, baby.
Well, we had 2 different people. Let me tell you, going in that match, I thought Cena was going to win.
I think Punk and Jericho definitely super match. I agree on that. Yeah. But John Cena's my favorite wrestler of all time, but I knew he wasn't winning that match. I wanted him to win that match so bad, but I was like, he's not winning. So
I honestly thought Cena was going to win. I mean, the whole build-up was John saying, no one remembers second place. And I'm thinking he's going to win. And my cousin, he's older than me, but he's only like 2 months older than me. So he's a Rock guy. He was a Rock person. And I was a Cena person. When I tell you my heart hit the floor, when Mike Chioda said 3 and The Rock 1, I was hurt. My chest hurt so badly. I'm like, I almost cried because like now I'm like, John lost, and now he's gonna be able to talk trash to me about it. This is terrible. And I remember when we came back to my house after the match. He's like this. I'm like this. I'm not even trying to look at nobody. And his grandma says, "I guess we can see who won the match." I was hurt. I admit, John losing that match hurt me. I still think with all that build up, John should have won the match. And then the next year, you don't even have to do one. You could just do the triple threat, and they can still. And that's just me though. I still think that it was a mistake not having John win the match. I mean, you could have not even done the rematch, but that's just me. The match itself is okay. I mean, literally, probably my favorite wrestler of all time and seeing it. My favorite wrestler, other past than The Rock. So that was a match I always wanted to see when I was growing up. So I'm glad I got it. But seeing John lose that match, especially when I was 12, that hurt me. I was hurt.
Yeah, I knew he was. I was like, man, he's not beating The Rock, man. But I want him to win so badly. Maybe they do have a win, but then when he hit that 3, I was like, yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. But I do think, like I said, Punk versus Jericho was a really good match that people don't talk about. It was really good. The main event was also, I think, was decent. I wouldn't say it was great, but I think it was pretty solid. The build up, I like the build up too. The really build up. But you guys don't have Taker versus Triple H in the Hell in a Cell match.
I don't have it in my top 10.
No. I don't have any of those matches. They were all just, I felt they needed to be spoken of. I think it's a solid Mania once again, solid card, but not. I don't remember anything great out of it except for promo and build.
Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, from this point on, I don't think I can have a single WrestleMania match in my top 10 from this point on. I mean, I'll still talk about the match that deserve a mention.
This was the last one. This is the last one I had on my top 10 for WrestleMania.
Well, you think you think this is the last good WrestleMania, even though 30 and 31 were both very good WrestleManias. Hell,
30 wasn't a good WrestleMania.
What was not a good WrestleMania?
30 wasn't a good WrestleMania.
I can't wait to get to 30 then.
It only had one. It only had a good moment, feel good moment for the crowd. That's what it was.
Okay. So
Triple H and Bryan was good, but take that off the card. What is WrestleMania without that?
Let's wait till we get to 30, then we'll talk about it. Because trust me, I don't.
All right, so what about 29? Has anybody got anything for 29?
No.
It was my first WrestleMania, so this is the weird thing. I have never went back and watched any of the WrestleManias I was at. So if I'm out of line, you may have to tell me, but it's different when you're there.
Exactly.
Completely. Like, I remember 29 completely different. And I remember walking out of that arena and I was like, listen, if we watch that at home, I bet you $10 everyone's going to say that this show was shit. But I knew in my heart, I'm like, this is my first Mania. This was dope. I saw Ryback lose to Mark Henry, which was stupid. They did all this other dumb stuff. And I was just like, damn, dude. And then, so remember how I was laughing when Rock won, right? I always sit near a freaking, I'm going to say the F word, a freaking John Cena fan. So there's a little kid near me. And this whole match, I'm like, whip his ass, Rock. Give him another rock bottom. Spit on him. And this little kid's just sitting there. You can just see how you can just see the body language. He's just like, man, shut up, man. I hate this old dude.
Yeah. I've been that little kid.
Yeah. There was a little kid when I went to Fastlane last year. I was at Fastlane last year when they had the 6-pack challenge and John Cena was there. There was a little kid sitting in front of me. And he wanted John Cena to win so bad, dude. So bad. And I was sitting in a section where people were booing John like crazy. I was sitting in that section. And he was like rooting so hard. He's like, come on, John. And then he lost. He starts crying like profusely, dude.
Damn.
He starts crying so bad. I had to go up to him. I was like, dude, it's all right, man. It's all right, girl. It's okay. Like, maybe you'll understand when you get older, but it's okay, man. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's little kid innocence, man.
I mean, he was only like 5. He was like 5.
I understand. That's the innocence of being little. We've all been there when it comes to wrestlers.
But you know when it gets to that reversal fest at the end, and then Cena finally catches him, 1, 2, 3. That little kid made sure he turned around, and I know his parents were watching, and he was like this in my face. I'm like, yo, we're out. Let's go. And I had to act like I was mad, but that little kid had his moment. I'm like, your boy won this time. Wait till they fight for the 3rd time. And then he was just like, and this is all I remember seeing as I'm going up the steps at MetLife, and I'm just like,
hey, think of it this way, Conrad. You probably gave that little kid a moment he'll never forget.
Yeah, he absolutely loved it. So that was freaking dope. But other than that, I got nothing to say about this Mania. I thought it was ass.
You should have been crazy to record that. You guys reaction right there.
Yeah, I mean,
I think my battery, when you go to WrestleMania 2, if your phone battery is ass, you better have a portable charger because your phone is going to die while you are sitting out there.
When we get to 33, I'm gonna come back to that point when we get to 33 because that was my first WrestleMania, so I'm gonna get to that point.
I wish I knew you back then, dude. I went to that one too. I've only went to 2, 29 and 33.
I haven't experienced WrestleMania yet. I'm still left out. I haven't been there yet.
You better make sure you go, Malik.
They're talking about having WrestleMania next year. It's supposed to be in Florida. If it's in Florida next year, I'm going. I'll be there. You'll see me there. I'll be there. I cannot miss WrestleMania no more. Let's talk about WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan, Triple H, then the triple threat match. Daniel Bryan is the best match on the card to me. I think it was one of the best opening matches for WrestleMania. Nothing else besides the streak ending, which wasn't a good match, but at that moment, the streak ended. It was crazy. Is there any matches on this that would make your top 10?
No. No. Moments, yes. Matches, no. I get this WrestleMania. I don't see how you think it's bad, Malik. I mean, you got the opening match was good, the triple threat, which was good. I mean, Cena and Bray Wyatt was a good match. Told an incredible story. So I thought that was a good match.
I'm with Conrad on that one. I didn't like it.
I liked it. I'll be honest. I liked
There's nothing about this WrestleMania besides the Daniel Bryan moment in the streak ending that I go back and remember. In the opening match, which when they had Hogan, Austin, and Rock, was a good moment.
That moment was incredible. It had three best WrestleMania moments. I say a top 10, whether it's good or not.
There's nothing about this that WrestleMania that moment. Just like I said, imagine if they didn't have Daniel Bryan save. Imagine if the streak ending was the end of that WrestleMania. That's why I talk about WrestleMania 32, and I'll get to 32 when we get to 32. I just remember the reactions I had that night. I'll never forget. Remember the cousin I brought up earlier who was a big Rock person? Well, he wasn't in the WWE like that anymore, but he watched WrestleMania 30. So he didn't understand why me and Kyrie, my younger brother, liked Daniel Bryan so much. So he's rooting for Triple H and Batista. And I will never forget, when Undertaker lost, literally the three of us literally sat down there, jaws hit the floor. No one said anything for 5 minutes. No one said anything. I just looked at both of them. But funny thing, when Daniel Bryan won in the main event, I will never forget this. As soon as Batista tapped out, I ran across and slid across my basement floor. And I'm wearing shorts. I literally slid across the floor. That's how happy I was. I will never forget my two reactions to Daniel Bryan winning and Undertaker losing. I will never forget those two reactions. I like WrestleMania 30. I don't see why you don't, but that's just me.
I like WrestleMania 30 as well overall. I think that this is one of those manias you have to learn to appreciate. And I put 31. I don't know how to put this. 31
I think 31 was better than 30.
Mm-hmm. This is one that you can go back and forth on, similar to what I said about the WrestleMania 23 matches. When you rank these manias, you're kind of like, what's better than this and that? And it's going to get down to little things. Daniel Bryan Triple H is the second. I can't put it over Brett and Owen, but it's the second best opener for a WrestleMania match. Also, what else did we have on here? The Shield dominating, but that really didn't matter. WWE title match. Daniel Bryan absolutely deserved it. Were the belts unified at that point?
Yeah, they were unified. Orton unified them back in December.
Yes. Yeah, the Battle Royal with Cesaro threw out Big Show.
Oh, dude, that was what I was thinking of. There was another moment on here. Cesaro picking up Big Show to body slam him. Dude, people went nuts. I watched
he picked him up with ease. It was noosh. He just picked him up it wasn't even a struggle.
He walked him over like a baby. It was like, goodbye. I'm taking my trophy. You're done. That was a great moment. And the Bray Wyatt John Cena video package is excellent. But I hate the story, like you said, Malik. To me, Bray Wyatt needed that win more than John Cena needed it. And WWE got real good at this, too, booking themselves in a hole. Because if John Cena loses, the story's stupid and it doesn't make sense. But if Bray loses, you're hurting Bray Wyatt's character.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, I'm a Cena fan, so obviously I like Cena. But at times, that's when I was kind of rooting for other people over him.
Yeah, there were. This is when I kind of started to wanting other people to beat John Cena, not because I hate John Cena, it's because it only makes sense for him to lose.
That's like you said, but like Conrad said, they put themselves into a corner. John loses, so it's stupid. It doesn't matter. But Bray losing hurt Bray. I mean, I personally think the best thing they could have done, and maybe this might not have helped, but it'd been better than Bray losing. As I would have honestly had John hit Bray with the chair. Yes, you don't want to do a disqualification at WrestleMania, but I think that might have helped the story a little bit better. I mean, you can still. The story can keep going. Of Bray really got the John hit because he made him break. and then you can lead that to another pay-per-view. But that's better than Bray losing.
And then you had the streak ending, which was the most shocking moment ever.
Another funny story. At my wife's apartment, room full of people. Uncle Tom's in there. Whoever. All these people are in there. Uncle Tom don't watch wrestling, but he wants to hang out with the boys. So we're explaining the story to him a little bit, and he's just like, "Oh, okay, I think I get this." So we're all watching, and we're all like, "Undertaker always wins at WrestleMania. It's a tradition kind of thing. No one's losing." And I hated Undertaker because he retired Shawn. So he gets hit with that third F5. The pin happens. I'm like, yo, it's over. And I've done this a bunch of times in between all of them. I'm like, it's over for this cat. It's done. I went 1, 2, and I said 3, and the ref said 3. And I was like, yo, I swear to God, I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought everyone in that room was going to beat my ass. I was got Nike signs and Timberland marks all across my face. Dude, I was like, I swear to you. They were like, no, the ref didn't hit 3. That was a mistake. And then Paul Heyman gets in, and I just remember, oh my God! I see the fat like wiggling on his face. Oh my God! And I was just like,
dude. And he hit that 3, man. I'm watching with my friend. We were like, I didn't know what to say. I didn't even speak, bro. I was like, I don't know. I thought they were gonna restart the match later.
I did too. We did mind you, the bell didn't ring. If you're watching the network, the bell does ring, but when it happened live, the bell didn't ring, and they didn't tell the referee who was going to win the match. Imagine being that referee, not knowing who's going to win, and you fucked up a streak match. You would have probably been blacklisted and blackballed forever. You would never be able to come back from that.
It's like, dude, and the reaction that Lesnar, he's like laughing in the ring. He's like, holy shit. He's listening to the people. And he's like looking around like, holy shit, dude. Like these people are like. I'll never forget that big black dude in the face with his eyeballs like popping out on the screen. I was like, oh my God. And then it hit Brock's music. I was like, oh my God, dude. I thought that was Undertaker last night.
Doesn't it feel like he was like 1, 2, shit, 3, like he didn't want to do it?
But here's when you knew like it was planned. When they showed the 21-1 graphic, I was like, okay, that was supposed to happen. And literally, I thought Undertaker last match. I didn't know what to think. Like I said, when I tell you. The way the crowd reacted the same way I reacted. Like me, my brother, and my cousin, we didn't say anything. None of us could believe it. And mind you, my mom doesn't watch wrestling anymore, but The Undertaker is her favorite wrestler of all time. When I tell you, I called her, I said, I was just like this. I said, The Undertaker just lost at for the first time WrestleMania. She could not believe it.
I know. I didn't have to think, man. This was like. And going to this match, I was like, man, if anybody's really believable, it's this guy. But like, they're not gonna have WrestleMania. You know what I mean? They're not gonna have WrestleMania. It never happens. But it's like, but then I'm thinking like, well, Undertaker's kind of older now. Like, how would it be believable enough for him to beat Brock Lesnar? Like, this is a fucking monster right here. Like, is he gonna be believable enough? So I was like, my emotions were mixed. But when he hit that 3 count, man, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I mean, that's when I liked Brock Lesnar a lot. Like before, he started winning titles and just. They start doing stuff. This is when I really like Brock Lesnar. I'm like, dude,
but that match is the reason why Brock is still booked strong today, and I think he will always be booked strong until it's time for him to go.
Yeah. It's funny. I actually hated Brock Lesnar back then. I didn't start liking Brock Lesnar until Royal Rumble 2015. Because I remember he conked the streak. I was already pissed. Then he destroyed John Cena. And, I mean, looking at it in hindsight,
that was a match that I wanted John Cena to lose. I don't want him to win this match.
I'll be honest. I wasn't watching the pay-per-views because my computer was broken, so I couldn't watch any pay-per-views. So I just looked up who won. And I was like, a part-time wrestler can't be the world champion and all that. And then I saw Brock won, and I saw he dominated. Like, wait, what happened? I go watch the match on YouTube that the next day. Like, dang, it was that bad. But I started liking Brock at Royal Rumble 2015 when him, Cena, and Seth just had that triple threat. That's when I started liking Brock Lesnar. And I started disliking Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32 with Dean Ambrose. That's when I stopped liking Brock Lesnar.
I think 30. Let's talk about 31. So I really liked the main event. A lot of people kind of skeptical about the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match because this is when Roman Reigns was kind of like people really didn't know what this guy was even about. He was still kind of fresh. You know what I mean? Like he was in the main event. People were like, why is he in the main event? You know what I mean? So I thought the match was really good. I thought the story they did in the match was really good. Lesnar just throwing his ass around, Roman Reigns coming back from winning that Samoan badass. You know what I mean? And then the Money in the Bank cash in at the end when Seth Rollins cashed in and won, I thought was really good idea because fans obviously weren't ready for Roman Reigns to be champion at the time. And Obviously, they wanted to get the belt off Lesnar, so I mean, this is a good way to kind of do it without having Lesnar lose and having Reigns lose Raw Lesnar. But I don't think it's not in my top 10. But I think it was the best match at WrestleMania to me that year. What do you guys think about this match?
The match. I think the match is good. It's the best Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match.
It's the best Roman Reigns WrestleMania match, too, by the way, for people.
Yeah, but there's not really much to debate there.
So far in his career.
So far. Yeah, I like that match. Seth cashing in just that took me. I wasn't ready for it. But other than that, that's probably my favorite match of the night. Granted, I really like Triple H versus Sting, but that was mainly due to NWO versus DX. And I remember when DX came out and everything like that, I told my mother, my brother, and my cousin, I said the NWO about to come out right after that. And NWO came out. That was just crazy. Even though it made no sense for NWO to help Sting, but it was still cool to see NWO versus DX. Don't act like you didn't think it was cool to see. Randy Orton and Seth Rollins was a good match, even though we only remember the ending. Even though it was still a good match. I like the Rock and Ronda Rousey segment. Granted, it dragged on forever. And Undertaker and Bray Wyatt was okay, but Undertaker actually looked much better than he did the year before. And the ladder match was good too. So I love 31 in general, but there's not a single match in 31 I put in my top 10.
Same.
Yeah, 32, terrible. I don't know, a match.
Terrible.
If you put moments on there, that RKO and the Seth Rollins cashing in, but this isn't about moments though. So
no,
32. The only thing about that was Shane jumping off the helmet though.
No! Don't you disrespect that triple threat match between Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky? That was the match of the night. Granted, I don't think it's a top 10 match of all time. Then it was a top 10 match of the year. So that match was good. AJ Styles and Chris Jericho was good. The Money in the Bank the ladder match for the IC title was good. And Shane jumping off the cell was good. Granted, the match was not. So don't act like they didn't have any good matches. That's why I put 32 next to 27.
Weird matches and weird finishes kind of hurt that though. Like AJ coming in, I don't understand why he had to lose to Jericho. I don't know. It felt weird, but Jericho needs to win too sometimes. So I was cool with that, I guess. Dean getting killed by Brock Lesnar
pissed me off.
Yeah, that was horrible. I'm trying to think. The women's match was easily the best match on there.
Loved it. Granted, I was pissed Charlotte won because I wanted Sasha to win, but that's still a good match.
Yeah.
The ladder match was, it
was a fun spot fest. Sami Zayn nearly killed Kevin Owens. But it was a good match.
Zack Ryder winning was a shock, and I knew the next night if he came out and defended the belt, he was losing. I'm like, he's losing.
I remember I told Malik I was watching WrestleMania 32 with Kyrie and his friend. And when Zack Ryder won, we was all shocked. I told Kyrie, "Watch, he gonna lose tomorrow night." And as soon as he came out with the title around his waist, I said, and Miz challenged him. I said, "Miz is gonna win." I knew he was not gonna hold the title forever. But yeah, that WrestleMania is definitely one of a weird one because you got Zack Ryder winning the IC title. The League of Nations beats the New Day. Those two, Jericho beat Styles, which I was somewhat okay with. Charlotte winning, which no one thought was gonna happen. And literally,
I didn't think she was losing that match.
I thought Sasha was winning. But,
I didn't want her to win that match, but I was like, well,
Charlotte. That's the thing. Like that WrestleMania. The big problem I had with WrestleMania 32 is this: if you're a young guy, you can just get fucked because we still have Austin, The Rock, Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker to put you on your place because who cares about building for the future? That's why I don't really like WrestleMania 32 because too many legends got big moments when they didn't need it. And don't get me wrong, it was cool seeing Austin Michaels and Mick Foley come out. It was cool seeing The Rock and John Cena team up. I admit those two moments I really liked, but that was the problem. And then, my God, the main event was way too long. When I tell you I was falling asleep on Triple H and Roman Reigns, remember, Malik, when you said WrestleMania 30 that if they had ended with the streak ending, then that would have hurt the show? That's how WrestleMania 32 was. Like, WrestleMania 32 was not even that bad on first viewing. But if they had ended it with a better match, we would not be. I guarantee you we would not talk about that show as bad as we did. But
that was a match that nobody cared about because everybody knew Roman Reigns was winning. He was not losing Triple H at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
2, this was like, why does Triple H have the belt? Like, you could have put why is and plus we knew Roman Reigns was gonna be. We knew he was gonna be the main event. He's gonna be the main event again, but who's fighting this year? Well, it's Triple H. Okay, well, when is Triple H ever won at WrestleMania? He's not winning. So.
Sting?
That was the last. But besides, he never went at WrestleMania. Never. He barely was at WrestleMania. He probably has one of the worst WrestleMania records in superstars.
That is true. He doesn't have that good of a record.
Yeah, him and Shawn are kind of whack at Mania.
That's the biggest problem with Shawn Michaels, Triple H is, what they do. People always call Triple H out for burying people, which is, it's justified. But his WrestleMania record is not that good.
Sometimes they don't need to win matches at WrestleMania, it's understandable, but he loses a lot at WrestleMania. This year might be one of the few years that I can actually see him winning WrestleMania.
I think he will beat Batista because Batista wants Triple H to be the one to retire him. So I can definitely see him beating Batista. And he never beat him. Think about it. Triple H never beat Batista. He was 0-3 against him.
Yeah, so let's move on to 33. You guys were at WrestleMania. I was not at that WrestleMania. I watched it live. There's no match that will put in the top 10, but there are a lot of cool things about this WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Shane and AJ, to me, stole the show. Watching it live at home, a lot of people were shitting on that match because, AJ Styles, Shane versus AJ Styles, but that match was great. We talking about opening match for WrestleMania. That was a great opening match. Good match. Mm-hmm. The Hardy Boys coming back crazy. I was like, you know what? As soon as they New Day came out, I started that Hardy Boys coming out. I swear to God, I called it. I was like, Hardy Boys coming out, watch. Hardy Boys came out. The crowd absolutely lost their minds.
Of course, we know that. We were in the crowd. We know the crowd lost their minds.
Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho was
after this show, I will play it for you guys because I don't want anyone to hear me scream like a girl. But I will play it for you guys what the arena sounded like.
What's funny? That was one of the things I did not record. I feel stupid, and mine's just on my old phone, so I don't even really have the video on this phone. But I will never forget. It's funny. I didn't even know I was going to WrestleMania until when I was watching Takeover the night before. But that WrestleMania, it's hard because it has a special spot in my heart because it's the first one I've ever been to. But if I watched it from home, I don't think I would love it as much. Nothing in there is top 10 match quality.
Yeah, I do think the WrestleMania set. Oh my God!
Oh, that's one of the best
WrestleMania set ever, dude.
Yes,
that in 29.
Yeah,
I'd say that one 17, 24.
That WrestleMania set. They went all out for that set. And that rant though.
That rant was long as hell. It was like 80 yards. And you want to know something? I was literally sitting right next to the rant. Which
side were you on?
I was on where I can't think about it.
You on the left side or on the right side?
The right side. The right side.
Right side if you're coming down the entrance, or right side as a fan?
Right there, as they're coming down the entrance, the right side.
Okay, so you're on the opposite. So I'm all the way up at the top, right across from you. So I'm up here a little bit. You must have been down there at the bottom. That's dope though.
It was crazy. Mark was at this WrestleMania too. A lot of people at this WrestleMania. I know that. I was like, I wouldn't even.
Yeah, I was there.
I was across from where the dudes were fighting. I could see it because I was just coming in at the time. And you've seen the video where the dudes are Stone Cold and they pick up the belts. I saw that happen. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I was right there when that happened.
I actually didn't make it in there in time. Lily, I think I actually got to my seats. We got in the stadium when Dean Ambrose and Corbin were facing each other on a pre-show. And I got to my seats as the match was finishing.
You didn't miss me.
That match, yeah, that show in general, I love it. Oh yeah, remember you talked about your battery dying? Here's a funny thing. We didn't have a portable charger. My mom, because my mother takes a lot of pictures or whatever. Now mine just is WrestleMania. I'm taking pictures too. Her phone's dead, and my phone is literally on 3%. And we still gotta make sure we call a cab to pick us up. So that was crazy because literally my phone was pretty much dead. My mom's dead. It was crazy. I literally my voice was literally destroyed. I couldn't talk for a week.
Yeah, I lost money there too, man. I lost a lot of money in that stadium. So I have this love-hate. I love that Mania, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, man, whoever got my money, man, you better have enjoyed it because they weren't letting anybody come in with stuff.
It was like watching it at home. It started off really good, but then WrestleManias are so long now, so the energy's kind of you're at home.
Exactly.
You know what was weird though? What saved this one was so Roman gets the win, but then when Undertaker started doing all the stuff with the jacket and laying stuff down, I was like, yo, this is a moment, dog. Ain't nobody leaving now. Everybody stood there Right.
Another match that I thought was Brock and Goldberg for what it was, how the match was built and set.
Oh yeah, they knew. Bang bang, beat him up.
Yeah, I thought it was really solid. I was like,
I was going crazy during that, and I literally ranted about that match almost for 5 videos straight. And I was not looking forward to it, and the match happens, and I'm literally going crazy watching it. Like I'm literally jumping up and down and all that.
You guys were watching it live though, but I'm pretty sure you guys watched it back. But like the moment when he hit Goldberg with the suplex, right, and they had a camera angle, and when Brock's like flexing, like and he's flexing. There's a camera angle like right on the side of him, and Goldberg knocks him with that spear. Oh my God, dude! Watching that at home, because it's like they didn't have Goldberg in the shot, so like Lesnar was in the shot like flexing, and then he turned around and Goldberg cracks him with that spear, dude.
Remember when Goldberg went for the spear again after he speared him through the barricade and Brock jumped over him?
Yeah,
that had me going fucking crazy, man. He cleared him.
All right, so there's no match I would have on this that would be top 10. 34, there's no match I have in 34 either.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I like Charlotte and Asuka. I love the mixed tag match, but no, nothing's top 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't put anything top. I like the triple threat match too. I thought the triple threat match was really good.
But the opening?
Yeah, the opening match. I like that match. But there's no match. Like I said, the WrestleMania is so long now, man. It's just like the energy starts off really good, but then like.
Yeah, you're ready for bed by the time it's main event. As soon as that happens, you're like, dude, how much longer?
Right, and it's like that WrestleMania was a little weird too because they did a lot of things that they had Brock beat Roman, they had Charlotte beat Asuka. There's a lot of things that they kind of swerve people.
Then they screwed me over. I'm never gonna forgive them for this. The one dream match I wanted was John Cena versus The Undertaker, and they stole it from me. I'm never getting over that one. It was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 33, and they gave it to Roman. And I was supposed to be in the audience to see John Cena versus The Undertaker, and he stole it from me. I'm never getting over that.
I wish they would have did that match back when Undertaker could still go. Like that match could have done a lot.
Well, here's a question, Malik. Which WrestleMania would have been a good time for it then?
They could have did that 27. I'd took that over Miz and Cena. I would have took that match at 27.
I think 28 could have been the time for it, or
But even they could have even did it at like 30. Well, they could have even did it at 30. And it's like they could even did it then. I mean, it's like
or at 23.
Yeah, 20.
Nah, I don't think 23 is a good time to do it. John wasn't big enough yet.
I mean, 27 would have been a good. I think would have been a good year. That would have been a good year to do it because Miz and Cena, like they had Miz the champion, and of course, at the time the company didn't want anybody else to face Miz, so they did it. But it's like that match could have did a lot for. I don't know if it would have been. I'm not saying it would have been like top 10, but like that length for that match would have been crazy.
I mean, the thing
they haven't worked together that much. You know what I mean? So it's like that match would have been.
Yeah, since John became the face of the company, they've never had that big match, and I'm never like the closest thing they've had to a match against each other since John became the face of the company. I think they had like a match on Raw against each other, and it was the tag team match when Shawn Michaels and John Cena fought Batista and Undertaker at No Way Out. I love that tag team match, but John and Undertaker. It's funny because they're both two of Vince's favorite employees. They've both been loyal to Vince. And you would think Vince would give him the match at WrestleMania. They never gave it to him. And no, I'm not counting last year. I'm not counting that.
Were you talking about the Raw match in Madison Square Garden where there was 3 teams, I think? And
no,
they had Cena.
No, I'm not talking about that. I think it was like a match in 07 when they had a match against
each
other.
It was like 07, 06.
I thought they were going to fight each other that year, though, too, when Taker tombstone Cena, because he didn't wrestle that often. I'm like, oh, they're setting up for a Mania match. But I think they ended up switching the match to something else. I don't know if it was Triple H or Shawn that year. But
the only reason I said that they shouldn't have did it 29 because we wouldn't have got Taker and Shawn and we that match. So I mean, they could have did that year too, but it's like then you wouldn't have had that match. I mean, so it's like I would have much rather had that match than Cena versus Taker. But so right now we got 5 matches.
What are the 5 matches we got again?
Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat WrestleMania 3, Brett versus Austin, ladder match at WrestleMania 17, Angle versus HBK, Taker versus Shawn at WrestleMania 25. So let's go back to the mentions. Let's start with HBK versus Rick Flair. We got to cut some of these matches out. So some of these matches we need to cut out. So
we got to pick 5 from how many do we have?
I'm counting right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well I'm marking out this one because you guys said that was one of your top 10. And I'm the only one that has it on my top 10, so I'm going to be outvoted for that one. So I'm marking out that one. We have 10, but I just marked one out, so we have 9 now because you guys didn't have that on your list.
Which match was it?
Rock versus Hogan.
Yeah, take that out.
Austin and Rock 17.
I'm tempted to put that up there.
I had that on my list. I don't know if you guys had that on your list.
I think that's saved.
Brett versus Owen.
It's in my list, but Most people won't look at it as a top 10. They'll look at the ladder match first.
Yeah, I don't have it on my list.
I'd have that on my chopping block.
So we're keeping that one still?
Let's put it on the chopping block. So right now, that's one of the ones that can get cut, in my opinion.
HBK versus Razor, I had that on my list.
I think we should put it up there.
I think it stays for now till it's.
I think it stays for now.
Piper versus Brett.
I don't think so. I like the match, but I don't think it's top 10 worthy.
Yeah, we can put that on the block too.
Warrior versus Macho Man.
I thought that was in.
No, that was on the.
I think that stays.
I think we got to keep that one.
Yeah, that stays. Flair versus Macho Man.
I'm biased to say it stays, but if we cut Brett and Piper, I think we got to cut that one too.
I think that Brett and Piper was a better match overall. Like I said, they're neck and neck for me. So
y'all depends on what you like more.
So Macho Man and Flair's gone. Brett Piper gone too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said if we cut one, we got to cut them both, and they're both great matches. But
Hogan versus Warrior.
I personally think we should cut it, but
yeah, this didn't make my list. It's not on my list either. I don't have it on my list.
All right. I won't fight it.
The triple threat match with HBK, Benoit, and Shawn Michaels.
I really think we should have this one. This arguably the best triple threat. I think we should keep it. Best triple threat WWE probably ever done, and one of their best WrestleMania main events. I think we should keep it.
I think
I'm with Kyron. I think it should be on the list. Looking at the matches we have, I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't add that to the list. All right, so we got that one on the list. So we got HBK versus Flair.
How many do we have right now then after the cuts?
Right now we cut Piper, Brett, Macho Man, Flair, Rock, Hogan, so we have 7.
So we got to get rid of 2 more basically.
We have 4 spots on the list.
Oh crap! So we have to get rid of.
So I mean, let's just layer it. All right, let's go through this again. Austin Rock, did that say yes or no? Yes or no? I had that on my list, so I say that's stay.
I think it might have to stay.
I think it stays for now.
Okay. Brett Owen, I don't have that on my list.
I know on my list, but like I said, we already have one match from that show, so I think we should cut it. Even though I think it's on my list, I think we should cut it.
All right, well, I'm cutting Brett versus Owen. HBK versus Razor, I have on my list. What do you guys think about that? Should it stay or should we?
I let it stay for now.
I think it stays.
Okay. Warrior versus Macho Man. I think it stays.
I say it stays.
Let's see, and then we have HBK versus Flair. Yeah, because I just put Benoit and Triple Threat on the list. So
it's up to you guys. Do y'all want to cut it or keep it? I want to keep it, but it's up to y'all.
I think it stays. So how many more? So how many spots are left with what we got then?
Yes. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 5 spots. Okay, are we cutting Hogan and Warrior? Is Hogan and Warrior cut?
Yeah.
Okay, so Hogan and Warrior is cut. So that's the 4 spots right there. I mean, those are the 4 spots there.
So then we're good.
So we got HBK and Flair. Let me write it down, and then I'll redo it off you guys. You try to tell me. All right, so I'm gonna start from 1. This is not in order, by the way.
Yeah, so. I mean, we all agree what no one match is, but we're not ranking these.
So we got Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat, WrestleMania 3.
Okay.
Brett versus Austin, WrestleMania 13.
Okay.
Ladder match at WrestleMania 17.
Yep.
HBK versus Angle.
Yep. Yeah.
Taker and Angle. I mean, not Taker and HBK.
Yeah.
Yes.
HBK versus Triple H versus Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
HBK versus Flair.
You said what?
HBK versus Ric Flair.
Okay.
Warrior versus Macho Man.
Yeah.
HBK versus Razor.
Yep.
and then Austin versus Rock, WrestleMania 17.
I think that's a respectable top 10.
I do too. I mean, ranking them would be tough. The first 5 you said were my top 5 when I got asked that question. I want to say it was a year or two ago now. It was a while ago.
We got Shawn Michaels in 5 of these matches. It's crazy.
He's Mr. WrestleMania.
We call him Mr. WrestleMania for a reason.
Imagine if we did one for NXT takeovers. Johnny Gargano
was going to have most of them.
Yeah, Gargano would have most of them. So, I think this is a pretty good list. There are some matches that obviously our personal lists are different. Would be different.
I mean, to be fair, we got. Wait a minute. What did we do with the TLC match at WrestleMania 17? Did we keep that or did we drop it?
It's on the list.
It's on the list. My top. That was in my top 5. That was in the first 5 we said.
Literally, I mean, the list we just came up with together. Did we keep Shawn and Flair?
Yeah, it's on the list.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 8 of my top 10 are on our personal list. The only 2 from my top 10 that we didn't put was Savage and Flair and Bret and Owen. Everything else from my top 10 is in our list. Not now. I don't know. We didn't rank them, but yeah.
What about your list, Malik? Was it similar to what you had?
Absolutely not. My list is definitely Rock and Hogan was on my list. The Hell in a Cell match was on my list. I did have Warrior and Macho Man on my list. So that's on the list. I didn't have HBK and Flair. I didn't have that on my list. I had the only matches. Let's see, the matches that I didn't have on the list that were on here. HBK Flair. I didn't have the triple threat match. I didn't have Macho Man versus Rick Steamboat either. I didn't have that match. But everything else, I had Bret versus Austin. I had the ladder match. I had Taker, Shawn. Obviously, I had Angle versus HBK. I had Austin and Rock at 17. I had the ladder match with HBK and Razor. I had Warrior and Macho Man too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had seven matches I had on my list on this list. So.
I had 8 off my list on our list.
So, man, what about your list?
No, I only did a top 5 a long time ago. You guys probably had top 10s. Someone asked me to rank my top 5 Mania matches, and I had one was Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. My number 2 was Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat, I believe. Number 3 was what was the other match that was in the top ones? Read your first 5 again.
Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat. Bret versus Austin.
Yeah, Bret Austin. And then TLC match was 4, and number 5 was Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle.
See, my personal top 5 are Savage Warrior at 5, Savage Steamboat 4, Austin Bret 3, the WrestleMania 20 main event 2, and Shawn and Taker at 1.
Yeah,
I think it's a respectable list again, though.
You know what's funny, though? I think we'd have an easier time ranking the top 10 WrestleManias than top 10 WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, it makes it harder, though. That's what makes it. Let me go to my list. Let me see if I can find my list. I don't know if I still have it or not. It was like last year sometime.
I still have this is the same list from last year because WrestleMania 34 did not have a single match worthy of a top 10 spot, so my list remained the same.
Oh no, I did have the triple threat match on my list. Hold on, I had it on my list. So there's only 2 matches that I didn't have that. I had Rock and Hogan and I had the Undertaker match. So everything else was on the list.
It's similar to the Superstar one we did last week. Like we were all about 1 or 2 off from arguments, but
yeah, I forgot I had the triple threat match at 10. That was number 10 on my list. So
because that's the thing about doing a WrestleMania. Even though it's opinion based, there are certain matches that's like a rule you have to have. Like Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. Not only did we all had it number 1 on our personal list. Savage Steamboat, you gotta have. Bret Austin, you gotta have. Those 3 matches are like if you ask me the 3 matches you had to have on any top 10 WrestleMania list.
Yeah. So there were only 2 matches that I didn't have. Like some kind of only 2 matches I didn't have up that I didn't make the list. But pretty similar. I forgot. I didn't think I had the triple threat match. I forgot I had that on my list. I don't know why I didn't, but yeah, that definitely made my list. Like I said, HBK and Taker was unanimous. I mean, that was just unanimous. HBK and Angle, the ladder match. Bret Austin was unanimous. We have Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat. We have Warrior Macho Man. We have Flair, HBK. And we have Austin Rock, and we have HBK versus Razor Ramon. Pretty solid list. I like the list. I think it's pretty solid. Like I said, our personal list would be different if we had like our own personal list. But I think the list is pretty solid for what it is. Kind of like last week. I think last week's debate was a little longer though. Last week's debate was a little longer because that was top 10 greatest superstars ever. So it was like we had to hard cut people out. You know what I mean? So I think this list is acceptable. Is there any other thing, any other mentions that you guys didn't mention that you guys want to mention, at least that's still out there? Say, I think this should be mentioned.
I mean, I don't think so. At every match we brought up.
So I want to do more debates like this. I do want to do top 10 NXT Takeover matches. I do want to do top 10 Royal Rumbles. I plan on doing that one. I also want to do top 10 video games. I want to do video games, top 10 wrestling video games. There's a lot of other top 10 that I want to do. Top 10. I think I might just do. I was thinking about maybe doing like a top 10 based off superstars, like top 10 greatest, Shawn Michael matches or something like that. So it's like based off like his like matches in general. So I want my debates to be hard. I want them to be hard, and I want them to be like challenging. You know what I mean? So,
well,
those three I definitely want to do. Probably the Royal Rumble will be the one I'm gonna do next. I should have saved it for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, but
exactly.
I definitely want to do. I'm probably gonna do Royal Rumble next, maybe next week or the week after. But that will be my next debate. But I'm gonna let you guys tell everybody where they can find your channels. What you guys do. So with Kyron, and we're going on to Conrad. Let everybody where they can find your channel. I'll put the channels in the description below too. By the way, for everybody.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, _Kyron. My Twitter, _Kyron. Tumblr and DeviantArt, Kyron Chase. YouTube account, Kyron Chase. I do videos on wrestling, Sonic the Hedgehog, My Little Pony Figures and Magic. And in 2 weeks is my 19th birthday, so I might have something planned for that day. Because I'll be back home in Baltimore from college during that time.
Go ahead, Conrad.
My man, my name's Conrad Cushman. I am the host of Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And you're going to hear me say that enough that you're going to start knowing the words to it. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at EPW Show. My personal account is at Conrad Cushman. If you guys want to talk sports, anything else on there, video games, whatever. Also on anchor.fm/EPW, you guys will be able to find me on there. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever you can find podcasts at, you will find Everything Pro Wrestling. And also make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Type in Everything Pro Wrestling. Right now I have 295 subscribers, 5 away from the big 300.
Conrad, you have 296. I just hit the subscribe button.
My man. So 4 away. Horseman. Sorry. But yeah. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and I have to thank Malik once again for considering me, having me on here. Thank you once again.
Yeah, so I plan on doing it. I want to kind of keep the debate. I want to kind of keep them close. So I'm gonna do the Royal Rumble next. I'm gonna do the Royal Rumble for next debate, and then I'm gonna come up with the other ones that I have to write down so I don't forget them. So that's definitely gonna be my next one. But once again, I'm gonna read the list just so everybody knows. This list. Number 1, we have Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat, WrestleMania 3. Bret Hart versus Austin at WrestleMania 13. The ladder match at WrestleMania 17. Angle versus HBK, WrestleMania 21. HBK versus Taker, 25. HBK versus Triple H versus Benoit at 20. HBK versus Flair, 24. Warrior versus Macho Man. HBK versus Razor. Then we have Austin versus Rock. I like the list. Like I said, there's only 2 matches that I didn't have on this list that didn't make my list, but I like the list. I think it's pretty solid. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing, like I said, I got more stuff coming, more trivias too. I think after the trivias, I got more trivias coming, more skits. I have more podcasts coming too. I have more collabs coming that I'm working on. And also, like I said, I'm gonna have a debate. My next debate will be the Royal Rumble, top 10 Royal Rumbles. So stay tuned for that. Don't know when exactly, but I definitely will have my Royal Rumble debate coming soon. So I appreciate you guys joining me. Make sure you guys go subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I'll have the link in the channel down below. I'll put it down there. But I appreciate you guys for joining me, taking time out, discussing wrestling like always, making a debate. It was fun. Like I said, I like the list. I'm cool with it overall. It's cool for me. But appreciate you guys joining me. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and we're out.
Peace out.